Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Talk Radio. We'll get you talking. Talk Radio.
I thought you were going to say a Beatle to me, Kath. I mean, you come out with that name. That's not quite as impressive as what I was thinking. Good evening, dear listener. This is live. This is not a best of. You can call, okay? I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road, it's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. There's a world that's waiting to unfold, a brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far, but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow, I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel like that's old style. Maybe tomorrow I'll find what I call home. Until tomorrow, you know I'm free to roam.
So, I went to what's that place? There it stops. I went to Liverpool yesterday, and it was good. I got the train up there and everything. Normally I drive and stuff. And 08444991000, by the way. Thank you to the two mics who are I just think they are the funniest thing on the radio at the moment. And here's the worrying and yet reassuring thing. None of that's an act. That's like proper real. And there's a real, you walk into the studio when they're on, there's a real, tension between the two of them. Parry doesn't even look at Graham. He sort of looks down at the floor as he's talking. They can't even look at each other. It's the weirdest vibe. I think they're so funny and so ill-informed on a massive number of things. You know, they really don't know a lot about a lot of things. But boy, oh boy, isn't it fun listening to those two men fighting? Anyway, they've gone. If you want to call in now, 08444991000 is the telephone number. So I went to that there, Liverpool. And I got the train up and it was all groovy. And I was going to go and see Micky Dolenz of the Monkees, right, who was doing a concert. He was doing two concerts. And I had tickets for the evening concert. And I realised I got an earlier train than I expected, and I realised I would make it in time to get there for the 2 p.m. concert. But I had no ticket for the 2 p.m. concert, so I sent out a panicked message across Twitter and Facebook. And I managed to get one. Someone who was there said, someone's offering to sell their ticket. Do you want to buy it? I was like, yes, I do want to buy it. And I bought a ticket, and I got in. And I am a huge Beatles fan, right? Massive Beatles fan, as you may have noticed. And I've been to Liverpool, but I think I've been once. I definitely remember once. I may have gone a second time. I don't know. And I went. When we went, we were filming, and we got there in the evening, and we stayed in the hotel, and then got up in the morning and filmed and left, so didn't see anything. And it's really dumb of me that I have never done the Beatles-y type tours. And it's everywhere, you get off and there's a statue of John Lennon and all of that stuff. And I didn't really have, I was all set to do a Beatles tour yesterday if I didn't manage to make the afternoon show, but I got a ticket for it. So I still didn't do any Beatles tours. But I did walk up and down, I think is it Matthew Street? Where, the cavern is. I say the cavern, it's the cavern. It's the cavern. It's a cavern. It's not the cavern. And I made a joke of it to the bouncers. They were, hey, I recognise you, hey. It's that effer off the effing TV. And I went, yeah, I can't talk, lads. I'm about to go and see a show downstairs in what I believe this is the fake cavern. Hey, you effer. They were saying. It was, I believe, what we would call classic banter. Classic bants. And the street that the cavern is on, if you've never been, right, it's like what Carnaby Street was like in the late 80s. Tacky and horrible and naff and trading on its former glories. That's what this street was like. And there's the cavern and the cavern pub and the cavern bar, and there's statues of John Lennon, and there's loads of Japanese tourists and all of it. And it was exciting, I'll give you that, but it was a bit naff. In fact, it was really naff, but it was good naff. I'm not saying naff in a critical way. I'm saying it in a descriptive way. I like naff. A lot of my favourite things are naff, and Matthew Street was naff, really. 0844 499 1000. In fact, I was walking up it later on for the second show, about 9:30, and it's just, they're all there's loads of pubs up there, and they've all got open fronts, and in every one, it was people doing absolutely awful covers of Beatles songs, like really crappy bands and crappy solo singers, all doing, rubbish versions of Beatles songs. It's a really odd place, but I liked it. I went for a drink in the Hard Day's Night Hotel, because I met a friend there who I used to go to college with. I haven't seen her for like 20 years, and we met and we went out for a meal, and she kind of showed me some of the sights. And we went to the Hard Day's Night Hotel, which is a Beatles-themed hotel. And you kind of think, is that all that Liverpool is famous for? What is it famous for? Richard and Judy, the Beatles, slavery? That's kind of where it's made its money from. I suppose it's better to have a Beatles theme museum than a slavery theme museum, although, I don't know, I'm thinking. And who should be sat at the bar getting boozed up in the Hard Day's Night Beatles theme hotel? It was, of course, Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney. It wasn't. Even better than that, it was Micky Dolenz of the Monkees, and I made a point, because I was with my friend, of showing off and going over and going, hello, Micky, and he gave me this dirty look. Right, as if to say, don't talk to me, I'm having a scotch. And then I reminded him who I was, and he was like, Iain, it's nice to see you, so nice to see you. But I saw 2 shows in the cavern, right? And the first one, I didn't realise Micky was on about 4:30. And so I started standing in the cavern at 2, and his show finished at 6. That's 4 hours of standing pretty motionless, because I didn't want to lose my spot, because I was kind of in the second row. And it is hot in there, man. And when I say hot, right? I of course mean hot. But, I mean, I have not stood in a room that hot before. Literally sweat pouring off the ceilings. I was soaked. Literally soaked. And I'm not using literally in the sense that everybody... I was literally soaked. My shirt was soaked. And it's weird in there, because it's horrible and grotty, right? But then the cavern was horrible and grotty. But, and where does the word grotty come from? Anyone? It comes from the Beatles in A Hard Day's Night. That was the first use of the word grotty, so it all links up. Ray and Paul, I will come to you in a bit. 0844 499 1000 if you want to call. Don't forget, I get 10% of every call that you make. Jeez. According to some libelists on the internet. Some SH1T stirrers. But it's weird because you're in there and it's like being in the London Eye or being in the Dome of St. Paul's, or you're in a kind of tourist attraction. And it's odd because it's not the real cavern. So everybody's in there hot and sweaty and uncomfortable. But you're not in the real place. Anyway, it's weird. But it was thoroughly enjoyable. And the plan is, at some point, is to go up to Liverpool for like couple of days, do it proper for a couple of days, get the yellow bus tour all around, Magical Mystery Tour, go to what I really wanted to do. And I didn't, of course, being an idiot, I didn't look up these things until I was on the train, and by then it was kind of too late. Is you can go to John Lennon's and Paul McCartney's childhood homes as part of the National Trust. Now that would be awesome. And I would steal something from there. I think I would steal something, not from Paul's house, but from John's house. And when I say steal something, I don't mean, like Aunt Mimi's jewels or something. But I would, I'd cut a bit of carpet. I'd get nail scissors and I'd cut a little bit of carpet. Or, like behind a picture, I'd lift a picture and I'd tear off like a slither of paper. But I wouldn't keep the paper because that would have been added more recently. But I'd go behind all the layers of paper till you got to the bare wall. And then I'd get a Petri dish and I'd just scrape a little bit of the plaster from the bare wall. Because Lennon would have touched that. Lennon actually would have touched that. And then using my trained scientist friends from ISIS, unfortunately, I would get them to clone John Lennon. I'd get them to clone 100 John Lennons. And they would, unfortunately, ISIS would publicly execute all of them. But well, what a morale, not a morale boost. What's the opposite to a morale boost? What a morale deflator to have 100 John Lennons executed. That would be flipping it, a complete buzzkill. To have, I mean, it's bad enough when one died, but imagine 100 of them being killed at, massive tourist attractions all around the world. Flipping heck. It will be devastating. We wouldn't be able to survive. Anyway, 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Ray, you'll be first, then it'll be Paul Akinbola. And then, right, I got loads to talk about because I had a day off and I didn't really get to speak to many people. Then I got the so I stayed in a hotel in Liverpool, and it was really I loved Liverpool. What little I saw of it, I loved, and I met some very, very nice people there, some locals and some not so locals, and it was delightful. It was absolutely delightful, and I fully intend to go back there and do the full Beatles experience, right? But then I got the train back, right, and I had, for the first time ever, I'd made a concession to modern technology, right? And I'd got an e-ticket. Now, the reason I'd got an e-ticket is because printer fluid is the most expensive thing in the world, and I've not bought any for ages. The printer's got no ink. So it's got some yellow inks. If I'm printing off a completely yellow thing, we are sorted. Bit of green, but it's got no black ink. So I didn't print it off. But I had an e-ticket, guys. And that means it was on my phone. And I showed it to the woman. I spoke to a woman at Liverpool Lime Street station. And I said, excuse me. She went, hey, you're that fella off the telly. Is that a Liverpool accent? Hey, Camden, you're that fella off the telly. And I went, yeah. She went, you like Arsenal. I went, what? She went, you support Arsenal. I said, well, I said, I don't. She said, yes, you do. You're famous for it. What? Is Ralph Little an Arsenal supporter? Is he? She thought I was Ralph Little, didn't she? But he supports Arsenal, doesn't he? Balls. Anyway. I showed her my e-ticket. Oh, wait, 444991000. We'll start the show soon. I showed her my e-ticket, and she went, yeah, it's fine. You can get this train. You've got a seat reserved on the 1047, but you're here early. You can get the 907. Bish, bash, bosh, change at crew, wallop, right? So I got on the train, bearing in mind she'd seen my ticket and said everything was fine. And then the ticket inspector comes along. And I showed him the ticket on the phone. He said, yeah, we don't accept those. I went, what? He said, yeah, we don't accept those. I said, oh, well, that's all I've got. He said, well, don't worry. I'm going to let you stay on the train. Thanks, man. I'd only spent £82.40 on a ticket. It was returned. Actually, I thought that wasn't that bad. I'll let you stay on the train, but when you change at crew, you need to print the ticket off. Now, bearing in mind, I'd chosen an e-ticket, which means I didn't have an option to type in a code and print a ticket. And also, I didn't realise this, I had 7 minutes when I got to crew to get the connecting train. I didn't realise if it'd been so... had I known it had been such a tight turnaround, I would have not done it, because the connections always make me very anxious. I had to do a connecting flight once, and it was tight. It was like 45 minutes or something. Very, very anxious. Anyway, then I started getting arsey on Twitter, as I'm allowed to do because I'm a celebrity, meaning I've got a blue tick. Although everyone's going to be allowed to get blue ticks soon, which I agree with Limmy. I think that is outrageous. And I started saying to the train company, can you help here? Because I'm in a bit of trouble. I'm not going to have time to print off a ticket. Anyway, it ended up with the person from the train company DMing me saying, it should be all right. Check with the guard before you get on the train. And I thought, nah. I've spent £82.40. This is a valid ticket. I don't actually know what the legal situation is for e-tickets. I don't know if they legally have to accept e-tickets. So I got on the train, and here's the thing. No one asked to look at my ticket. Not one person asked to look at my ticket, right? And they didn't ask to look on the way up. And when I got off, I didn't have to swipe it at a barrier or anything. So what I'm saying is, I could have travelled for free. I could have just got on the train. Not condoning it. I'm not suggesting that people do it. Of course not. But I could have done. 08444991000. I am reminded, and I need to say this, and we will start the show. You know that you were all invited to come down to the studio this Friday. You're not invited to come down to the studio this Friday. Basically, it's all groovy, man. It's all groovy. But we were asked to compile a list of people, and we just thought, with 2 days' notice, it would be really tricky for us to organise, and people might miss it. So we're cancelling it. We are cancelling it, right? For this, we are postponing it. Although I may have gone slightly off the idea, as I often do. When I have ideas, I want to do. I'm like John Lennon recording Cold Turkey. When I have an idea, I want to do it, and then I'm bored of it. So this Friday, do not rock up to the studio, because no, it's not. It's not a balls up at all. It's not a balls up. It's just one of them things. Do not come to the studio, because you will not come in. Now, if you have booked a hotel, as some people have, send me an email, ian@ianlee.com, I'm not paying for your hotel, but I just want to see how many people have booked a hotel, right? So that's groovy. And if you're on Twitter and if you're on Facebook, the Talk Radio page, and if you're on Periscope, if you could spread the word, please, that this Friday, the show's happening, but you won't be happening. So don't turn up to Talk Radio. And I'll mention that a few times throughout the night. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. Shall we crack on? Good evening, Ray.
Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa.
Oh, how long is it since you heard that?
I've got no idea what that is.
That's sad, because I wanted to know where it was from.
I don't know what it is.
Because you used to play that incessantly at Absolutes, and I just never knew where. I thought it was from Pokemon or somewhere.
I don't know what I did. I do know what I did yesterday, but I don't know what I did on the show on Monday. So I get this a lot. People kind of quoting stuff and saying stuff that I did on the shows years ago. Here's the God's honest truth, right?
Yeah.
99 times out of 100, when you, and I don't mean you specifically, Ray, I'm talking to the listener in general, when you tell me that we did something on a radio show together, and I'm nodding and going, yeah, that was funny, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. And that's not to be rude. Honestly, I haven't got a clue. 'Cause with my friend, right, who I've not seen for 20 years, well, saw her once about 15 years ago, but not seen for 20 years. And she was talking about all these people that we went to college with, and I'm going, no, don't remember, no. Was that the short black one? No, I don't remember. I didn't have a clue. So to be reminded, and it's it's a joy to have bits played at me, because that sounds funny. It sounds like a funny thing. But if you do meet me and I am chuckling and looking as though I'm remembering the phone call that you made to me in 2004, where you pretended to be a Nigerian or something, I probably haven't got a clue what you're talking about. I'm just being polite.
He was a good caller as well, the Nigerian guy.
He was very funny. Was there a Nigerian? There was a guy, I do remember a guy, who phoned up, and he told me that he hadn't taken his trousers off for 90 days.
Oh, Lord.
I remember that. I do remember that, but I don't remember anything else. Anyway, anything else, Ray, apart from me to bursting your bubble?
Well, no, I was going to pop up this Friday, but as it's off, we'll just have to hope for another time.
It may happen another time, and it's not everyone. The people on conspiracy. No, it's not. There's just been a little bit of a misunderstanding, and quite rightly, the bosses were a little bit worried about security, and they wanted us to register people, and it just, with 2 days' notice, it was all a little bit too much work for us. So it's not a. It's not a bad thing or anything. It might happen again if I can be bothered.
Okay. And the other question was, your beard has gone. Does that mean you've got TV work coming up?
No, I tell you why the beard went, right? Again, because a lot of things happen in Liverpool. It was a transformational experience. I looked at myself in the mirror, right, in Liverpool with a beard, and I felt like a fraud. It's not. Well, I'm glad you found humour in that. I did. I felt like a fraud, and I can't be any more specific than that. But I looked at it and I just thought, nah, that's not you. And I decided then that the beard was going to come off, and I looked for a barber yesterday, and I had my eyes half open for a barber yesterday in Liverpool that could take it off there and then, but I couldn't find any, and it was a real moment of just looking at myself and thinking, that's not me. That's not me. And so it went today, and it was a joy. And my boys, right? Because I got home about lunchtime and I saw them for a bit, then I went to bed for a couple of hours, and then I got up and I shaved it off. So they'd seen me 2 hours previously with a beard. Yeah. And then I came downstairs and my youngest looked at me, and he started giggling. I said, why are you laughing? And he said, you look different. And I said, right, why do you, what's different about me? And he went, your eyes are sparkly. I went, right, no, there's something more different than that. He said, you've washed your hair. Oh, then he said something like, he said, you've polished your face. I went, no, and I started rubbing my chin, and finally, he got it. And the same with the 6-year-old. He started giggling because something was different, but he couldn't work out what it was that was different.
Yeah.
Stupid kids. They're not really.
I remember there was an episode of it. Did you ever used to watch The Goodies when you were young?
Yeah, I used to watch The Goodies.
Yeah, there was an episode where Bill Oddie shaved his beard off, and when he steps out, the audience just gasps. Because it normally had this, like, woodlands on his face.
I was tempted, and we're speaking to Neil Hannon this week from the Divine Comedy, and he did a show at the Royal Festival Hall, right? But the first half he had a beard. He came back after the interval, no beard. And I was tempted to do it on Sunday on Sky News. To do, like, the first couple of hits with a beard and then get rid of it. And then I thought, no, I can't be it's stupid. But. And I did the thing where I shaved it, but then I left a goatee just because I wanted to see what my evil twin would look like.
Yeah.
But then I got rid of it, or I didn't do the porn moustache and the Hitler moustache. I didn't do any of that stuff. It was just once I got in there with the clippers, it was good. It felt freeing, man.
Yeah, I bet your face feels cold now.
My face it looks fat, and I keep, the annoying thing about having a moustache, right, of any length, is that when you blow up your lip, it blocks the now I can blow up my nose, right? I can do that and it blows up my nose. Yeah. But the moustache would block it from blowing up the nose. It's a small thing, but it was important to me. But now I can blow up my nose again. So that's quite good.
Oh, it's a rediscovery.
It's a rediscovery. But it was the 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. We'll call you back. It's not a best of, by the way. This is live. It's 10:30 on what night? Wednesday night, guys. But it was the weirdest thing. I'm probably going to grow another beard immediately. I might have another shave in the weekend, and that'll be it. But it was the weirdest thing. I was looking at myself in the mirror, and I just thought, nah, you're a fraud, son. You're a fraud. And I can't express or extrapolate on that any more than I just looked at myself and thought, nah, you're a fraud. And I don't know why or what. If anybody, male or female, has had a similar reaction when you look in the mirror and you think, nah, you're a fraud. I have not really had the time or the inclination to kind of analyse it beyond that. But does anybody know what I'm saying, or is this the rambling of a bloke who's just a hair's breadth away from having another breakdown? Is that what it is? It could be. It could be. I don't know. 0844 499 1000. Coming up, it's only Paul Akimbola. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You're more than welcome to. We call you back. What we talked about today so far: Liverpool, the Beatles, the Cavern, trains, beards, feeling a fraud. Indulge me. The people that have been saying, not just on Digital Spy, but on Twitter and stuff, you should have topics. You should have topics. It dawned on me today that we do have topics, but we just don't label them as, here's question 1, here's question 2, here's question 3. We've in 30 minutes of this show, we've spoken about modes of transport, about how technology can be a help or a hindrance in our lives, about how we can travel the world and see all kinds of tourist attractions, yet we don't go and see the tourist attractions in our very own country. We've talked about how naff can be a good thing. We've talked about looking in the mirror and feeling a fraud. We talked about loads of stuff, light and quite existential, right? We've done all of these things. That's topics for you guys. You can call in about any of those things or about none of those things. We've talked about the frailties of memory. We've talked about faking conversations with people because it's easier than going, I'm sorry, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. So, we're doing topics. We're just not labelling it in the traditional way. And it's taken me about a week to get my head around that, and I'm glad I did. 0844 499 1000. Paul Akimbola.
Hello.
Hey, Paul.
You saw the email.
The email says, I've got it up in front of me now. If you go to talkradio.co.uk, guys, you can email us. Would have Danny Baker proud to host this Sky One game show from the mid-90s? This is a YouTube clip. Now, I can't open the YouTube clip on this system, Paul, so you're going to have to describe it to me.
The game show called Spellbound.
Spellbound. Now, is that where people had to spell words?
Paul Choir. It was a live interactive game show.
Wow. But and what was Paul Coyer doing? I've had occasion to meet Paul Coyer. He's a dry gentleman. I mean, I say that with love. He's a very, very, very dry gentleman. Very tough. There's not much purchase there when you're having a conversation with Coyer. There's zero purchase when you're listening to him doing his dreary show on BBC London. God, it's awful. But I'm sure he's a nice guy. Anyway, Paul, what's the premise of the quiz show?
We go to the UKGameshow.com.
Yeah.
For the UKF. The SPE. It'll be OUNT. Well,
are you all right, Paul? Because you sound. Hang on, indulge me a second. Are you all right, Paul? Because you sound. Normally when
I need to properly. UK Game Show.
All right. Hang on a minute. Paul. Hang on a minute. Well, normally when you phone in, you are very, very excited. And I struggle to understand you because you're so excited and you're bouncing all over the shop. Tonight, you sound a little bit slower than normal, and I was just wondering if everything was
okay. The website address.
Yeah.
UKGameshows.com. But you can't open the link.
Okay, right. I'm not going to do that.
We're going to move in subject. It's going about Smash Hits magazine. What are your Smash Hits memories?
Now that's a question. Here's the thing, I never used to read Smash Hits, and part of me wishes I did, because you had, like, really cool writers like Miranda Sawyer and stuff do it on there, and they were kind of doing really stupid, irreverent stuff that sounds like it was a lot of fun. But I was quite snooty, and I didn't read that. I read the NME. What are your Smash Hits memories?
Smash Hits problem is my party.
Yeah.
And there was a Smash Hits TV show that was produced for Sky One. Its success led to a Smash Hits TV channel which closed this summer.
Okay, so you used to like the Smash Hit poll winner party, hosted by... Didn't Jamie Theakston host it a couple of times?
It's sad that Smash Hits magazine closed.
Well, it is sad. It is sad, Paul, but these things happen.
I would like the Smash Hits magazine to be come back full time.
Well, it probably won't. The thing is, though, magazines, they're kind of on the way out, aren't they? No one really gets magazines anymore. This is the reason why Smash Hits died in the first place. Yeah. No one reads magazines. The printed medium, newspapers and magazines, is it's dying. I think the only thing that's still successful are comics, and that's primarily because of my two children.
So this is the reason the printed media is the reason why EME is now free.
There we go. Paul, listen, thank you very much, mate. 0844 499 1000. Stu's texted in. I had booked a hotel for the Friday. It is unfortunate. Listen, if you've booked a hotel, try and cancel it. I know they're not always refunded. Just play on a sob story. Tell them your mum's dying or something. That often works. I've got no qualms with doing that. If you booked a hotel and you can't get your money back, send me an email, ian@ianlee.com. I'm not going to pay for the hotel, but I might be able to sort something out so that it's not completely wasted time. But I can't promise anything. But if you were going to come to the show on Friday, you can't now because things have changed. So we're not doing the thing where we open the doors on Friday, invite everyone in. It will happen at some point. I'm almost sure about it, but it's not happening this Friday. If you could spread the word via Twitter and Facebook and all of those things. And Stu, your number ends 536. Send me an email, ian@iainlee.com. I need to just gather together all the people that had booked a hotel or train tickets or had spent a few quid already. 0844 499 1000. In for a penny, in for a pound. Gerry!
Hello.
Hey, Gerry, how you doing?
Okay.
What you got for us, boss?
I've had an accident today.
You had an erection?
Accident, no, I won't go to that. I had an accident in the carer's car.
You had your what? Hang on a minute, Jerry, because I've got the crappy headphones, and I'm struggling too a bit, but we're going to get there. You had what today, boss? An accident?
Jesus, be strange. Hello, can you hear me now?
I think I can hear you now. Did you? Were you on? Hang on a minute. Were you on speakerphone?
Yeah, trying to be.
Unbelievable.
I tried.
You know the rules. I don't care if you got Parkinson's or not. You know the rules, sunshine. What? Did you have an accident today?
Yeah, McDonald's bottles and I go for green and I had a wee in them. It's like sometimes Dumb and Dumber, the scene where the bottle just keeps passing bottles, but no one's there to pass me a bottle.
Yeah.
And it's just weed in my trailer's car. Got the seat soaking wet.
Hang on a minute, you weed in someone's car?
Yeah.
Rock and roll, man. You're living the dream.
Living the dream. But I said, you should come round to my place in Crewe.
Well, I was in Crewe for a grand total of 7 minutes today.
Yeah.
And then I was on the train from Crewe to London, and I fell asleep. I was meditating, right? But I fell asleep. And then I woke up and I said out loud, "Oh, I think I've missed Crewe." And then I realised that I was on the train and I hadn't missed Crewe.
No, you don't put 16 stretches on, you just go around Cheshire. Not saying you should do it, but go around Cheshire for free.
I go around hang on a minute. Did you say go around Cheshire for free?
On the train. Circles, just don't put 16 stretches on.
Yeah.
Yeah, stretch. Don't put 16 stretches on. Pay some money. No man stations.
Yeah.
It's pathetic.
Well,
you get body so.
I mean, the stations I was at were manned today, but no one asked to look at my ticket. Apart from one guard who said, "Well, we don't accept those tickets." Oh, I've spent £82.40. You will accept this ticket, my friend. And he was doing me a favour by letting me stay on the train. Cheers, man. Thanks a lot.
Disabled, you speak weeks in advance to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And they try to get a taxi to the next station. What's the bloody point?
I would never. The thought of taking my mum, who's in a wheelchair, on public transport. Nah, I couldn't face it, Gerry, because it's a nightmare. And that's me, an able-bodied person, helping her. You know, to
through the roof.
Yeah, I couldn't. And also, if you're in a wheelchair and you go on like a train, you've got to sit in the hallway by the toilets.
Yeah. And you don't know, your mum's the same as me, so it's not days, you're not going well to travel. Think on claim the refund.
Can I ask a question, right? And this question may seem insensitive, right? It will seem insensitive. But it's a genuine question, right? Okay? It's a genuine question. The Paralympics are coming up, right? Right?
Superhumans.
And the superhumans. That in itself feels a little bit patronising, right? I've heard the advert, the superhuman. It feels a bit patronising. Right. But I saw a poster for it today. I can't believe I'm saying this on the radio because I sent this to Scott, but it's a question, right? I saw a poster for it, and it was a young lad doing the weightlifting. Now, it was the weightlifting where you lie on that table and you're pushing up. So all you need are your arms. Is that a bench press? Right. So all you need are your arms, right? And he didn't have... Oh, we lost Gerry. He didn't have any legs. And I was kind of thinking... But this is going to sound awful, isn't it? I've started it now, so I'm going to finish it. I was kind of thinking, but legs wouldn't have made any difference to his ability to bench press. Would it? Would it? I don't... Because it's all in the arms. Isn't it? It's all in the arms. Right? So, well, you say weight distribution, but I was just watching and thinking, well, I wonder, really, we've lost Gerry. Gerry, may God bless you. I just kind of thought, it's cheating a bit, is what I thought. Genuinely, my first thing I thought, well, it's cheating a bit. Because really, you know, now if he'd had, like, one arm or something, what I'm trying to say is, and this leads me to an actual serious point, he said, desperately clutching at straws, what is the criteria for these things? What is the criteria to be able to enter the Paralympics? And all this superhuman stuff, I think I find it a little bit patronising. Oh, 0844 499 1000. Yes, Rocky! Pip, Rocky, I'm alright, fella. What you got for us?
By the way, disappointed to hear that the beard's away.
Yeah, it'll come back.
You now, are you looking in the mirror right now?
Yes, sir.
You're a fraud right now?
Yeah.
So nothing's been solved by...
Oh, no, do I feel I'm a fraud now? No, I don't recognise the guy staring back at me, Rocky. I don't recognise the guy.
And ironically, you thought the guy with the beard was not you.
I don't know.
And yet the guy without the beard you don't recognise as you.
He looks baby-faced. He looks baby-faced. And
They'll take years off you, that's what they do.
Well, this is the trick. This is why I want to have a beard until I'm in my, late 50s, and then you shave the beard off and you instantly look 7 years younger. Instantly.
True.
But I've got some I've got some good sideburns. Look at my sideburns if you're watching on Periscope. Look at those.
I'm sitting in the taxi, I can't get access to Periscope on
your
my
problem,
iPhone
mate.
4.
It's your problem, mate. I've got some wicked...
I know. Tell me,
white
my son
sideburns.
slaves me all the time for this. I can't believe you've got an iPhone 4. I says, I'll have an iPhone 4 until they stop sending a signal to an iPhone 4.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I'm not a big... I know you like your technology and all that, Ian. Not really for me, mate. I used to be quite sort of clued up, but I just think that the rate of change of technology...
Oh, yeah, no, it's a rip-off. It's the genius... The genius of the mobile phone company is that every 12 to 18 months, they get you to buy exactly the same thing. It's just a little bit thinner. That's it. That is it.
The lemons. They get the lemmings, I should say.
I opted out. I opted out of the iPhone race on an iPhone 4, and I only bought a 6 when my iPhone 4 died.
Well, I'll probably do the same.
Exactly.
But I see no reason to upgrade this whilst it still works, and I can still get the internet.
It does. The internet. It will be a little bit faster, and it will be a little bit thinner. And you're paying £500-600 for that. Nah,
exactly.
Stupid.
Exactly. No, you better believe it. By the way, that raises a wee point. I wasn't going to mention this, but I've often said this to people before.
Yeah.
Do you think we will ever, as a race,
there we go.
Do you think we'll ever live through a faster rate of change in terms of technology than we have, than personally you and I have over the last maybe 40 years? To explain what I mean, when you think about computer games, when I was a kid, a computer game consisted of loading a tape for 45 minutes, turning the tape over, loading it again, right? Now, you compare that primitive form computer games to what we've got now, right? Now, they will get better, the graphics will get better, they will get faster, they will get more realistic. But do you think this rate of change from what we had in 1976 to now, do you think that rate of change will ever be matched?
Yeah.
Surely not.
They've
got to the stage where...
What are you talking about?
Once you've got a realistic...
What are you talking about?
Graphic. Once you've got...
Rubbish. You're talking about graphics and video games. That's not change. That's not technology.
Oh, yeah,
that's not change. Because PlayStation 4 is a bit better than PlayStation 2. We're living through the fastest changing technological time. Utter balls, Rocky.
I'm telling you, I'll tell you what, you're lucky you're sitting in that studio.
You're lucky you're sitting in Scotland, otherwise I'd do a Frankie Boyle on you.
But,
you wait. Shut up and listen, man, for once in your life, shut up and listen. I'm not in your cab now, you're in my cab. Do as I say. You wait until nanotechnology kicks off, my friend. Once the nanotech starts going, boy, oh boy, and also, I would suggest that the last 20 years, technology has been pretty static.
Well, perhaps. No, maybe.
Because you think 20 years ago, right? We didn't really have. We were sort of. The mobile phones had were just coming more commonplace 20 years ago, right? And all they've done in the last 15 years is, as I say, they got faster and smaller. That's it. But we've not had. I would say the greatest era for technological development was 1952 to 1985. And let's say 55 to 85. Those 30 years were the fastest developing technological years we've ever had.
Well, that's probably right, because when you think of it, you look at pictures of computers in 1955 and they were the size of a house. Well, in 1985, when I was at school, the BBC computer was only the size of a garage. So you're right, it was... In
that time, TV, black and white TV, colour TV, satellites being put up into space, space travel, people landing on the moon, the internet was invented, the mobile phone was invented, digital telephone technology. That 30 years, 55 to 85, I am going to say the fastest, most rapidly developing times ever. And since 1985, we've just been recycling the same stuff. Everything has slowed down, man.
But then since 1985, the internet's came along.
No, the internet was invented before 85.
No, I'll tell you exactly when the internet.
No, you won't. You'll tell me when. Rocket. You will tell me when Facebook told you that the internet was invented.
No, I will tell you, because I'll tell you a wee interesting story.
Tell me when the internet. Tell me when the internet was invented. Yeah.
2 years ago, I had a fare from the Balmoral Hotel in Edinburgh, right? And
I've stayed there. Nice hotel. Except when someone had their shower on for too long, it set off all the smoke alarms, and we had to evacuate. But anyway, carry on.
Oh, that's just safety conscious. The two guys came out with suits, and they said to me, "Who are you after?" And I says, "The customer's name is Mr. Cerf, CERF."
Oh, yeah.
You can look this guy up, right? And the guy, these two guys in the suits, they says, "Oh, that's Mr. Google," and they just walked away. So I was left sort of intrigued. Anyway, 2 minutes later, this older guy comes out, an American, and jumped in the cab. So I'm taking him from A to B. I says, "Why are you here?" He says, "I'm delivering a keynote speech." He says, "And I'm presenting awards to Edinburgh University, the computer degree or course or whatever." I says, "So
you're building up to give me the wrong date, but carry on. I'm enjoying this.
Right, okay, right. Well, I'll accept your apology in a couple of minutes, right?
Yes, mate.
So what happened was, this guy, I says to him, "So what do you do with yourself?" He says, "Oh, I'm the vice president of Google." He just boom like that. Yeah. I says, "No danger."
I hope he gave you a big tip.
I am. His name was Vint Cerf.
Vint Cerf.
VINT. Cerf, right? Yeah. Now he explained to me that he invented the internet. Now I'm talking about the internet. I'm not talking about the World Wide Web.
Right. When did he invent it?
72. 1972.
So hang on a minute. That's what I said. The internet had been invented before 1985. I told you that, and you were about to prove to me that it hadn't been invented then.
I says to you, the internet was here by 85.
Yeah, that's what I said. Between 55 and 85, we had the internet.
All right, so I give you 1972. You give me between 55 and 85. And
I would have narrowed it down to the 70s, but I've told you that 30 years, flipping it, that 30 years period was the fastest developing time, and then you were about to tell me that the internet had been invented after that, and then you tell me that the internet was invented then.
No. I'll tell you what.
Flipping it, Rocky.
Listen, he invented that, right?
Good for him. What's that got to do with me? How much did he tip you?
Shut up and I'll tell you.
How much did he tip you?
More than you, anyway.
Well, if you want to go there, Rocky, you were going to give me free rides. The only reason we called you up is because you were going to give us free rides.
And then when you turn up in the silk suit and
what the hell are you talking about?
The beautiful crocodile leather shoes.
What's her name?
I knew you had money.
What's her name? Well, anyway, Rocky, it's good to talk to you. Neil, you're talking about your arse as usual.
Just before I go, yeah.
Okay, thanks very much indeed. 0844 0844 499 1000. Yeah, I knew the internet was invented in 1972. Of course I did. Everyone knows that. And the military had the internet. The World Wide Web was, according to Facebook, invented 25 years ago, about 2 weeks ago. But then Tim Berners-Lee, who invented the World Wide Web, came out and said, no, they've just plucked that date out of Mark Zuckerberg's ass. Literally, just plucked a date, and then plugged it back in. To his backside. Right, well that's an hour down. What have we spoken about? The internet, technology, trains, beards, existential crises. You want topics, guys? I mean, geez, that's like a year's worth for Ian Collins I've just given you there. 0844 499 1000. This is Talk Radio.
Talk Radio.
Well, I'll be the judge of that, shall I? Now would be an excellent time to give us a call if you want to come on the air. It's kind of loose, man. It's feel real loose, like a long-necked or long-legged goose. I never know that lyric. 0844 499 1000. I'm Ian Lee. This is Talk Radio.
Late night, Ian Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
I'm a titty man, you're a titty lady. I'm a titty man, you're a piece of lazy. I'm John Noakes and I'm a titty man. I'm Steve Hawking, I'm a titty man. But I'm a titty man, you're a titty lady. I'm a titty man, you're a piece of lazy. I'm John Noakes and I'm a titty man. I'm Steve Hawking, I'm a titty man. But true identity.
True identity. I'm a titty man. No one knows what they're gonna see. I'm a titty man. I wanna take it to you.
I'm a titty man. You're a titty lady. I'm a titty man. You're a titty lazy. I'm John Noakes and I'm a titty man. I'm Steve Hawking. I'm a titty man. I'm a titty man. You're a titty lady. I'm a titty man. You're a titty lazy. I'm John Noakes and I'm a titty man. I'm Steve Hawking. I'm a titty man. True identity. I'm a titty man.
True identity.
I'm a titty man.
True identity. True identity.
I'm a titty man. My titty. I'm a titty man. I'm a titty man. You're a titty lady. I'm a titty man. You're a titty lazy. I'm John Noakes and I'm a titty man. I'm Steve Hawking. I'm a titty man. I'm a titty man. You're a titty lady. I'm a titty man. You're a titty lazy. I'm John Noakes and I'm a titty man. I'm Steve Hawking. I'm a titty man. Identity.
Oh, bloody hell.
No.
You wait. Because several steps closer to having an EP, extended player, released on iTunes, featuring that Lindsay Lohan and whatever the other one, Miley Cyrus. You wait. I am in talks with one of Britain's leading independent record labels, who have access to iTunes. It wouldn't even. Basically, what I'm saying is, this is a big bucks deal, because it won't even involve me having to pay $20 to register on a website, because this company has already paid $20, and I would come in underneath that $20 umbrella. So basically, that means that when we start making money on it, 0844 499 1000, I won't even have to take $20 off the top to cover expenses. You see? Got me thinking head on today, Aunt Sally. Those songs will be available very, very soon for purchasement. I reckon 3 songs, considering you can get 2 of them 3 on the internet already. 69p, I reckon that's something like me. 69p, there we go. And it's a funny number. Going to be so rich. And everyone's going, what's he talking about? Who's going to pay for it? You guys will. You guys will pay for it. Who's going to buy the Spice Girls? Who's going to buy any of the pop phenomena? It's all hype. It's all hype. And I'm hyping it now by saying there won't be many downloads of it available. There we go. There'll be a limited edition download. And once all of those downloads are used up, there won't be any more. It's hype, man. It's all hype. Mark Bolan, the Beatles. Oh yeah, that reminds me. So, last week we went and saw the new Beatles film. I say, I am smoking a bar. What's your problem? We went and saw the new Beatles film. By we, I meant me and Kath. And it was so-so. And I've said on the radio it's so-so. This is how nuts they are. Despite me saying, Jonathan, I'll come to you in a minute, 0844 499 1000. Despite me saying the new Beatles film is so-so, I've still been invited to a screening. Is it Monday? A screening of the Shea Stadium concert. And it's going to be introduced by Giles Martin. Giles Martin, George Martin's son, who did the soundtrack for this, who's mixed the new Beatles Live at the Hollywood Bowl album, which I've ordered, who also did the moshing up for the Beatles' Love. He's going to introduce it. And this is my plan. I take him, Titty Man and Lindsay Lohan, right? And I say, Giles, listen, right, your old man knew a thing or two about music. He was quite good. I think you're quite good. And I'm going to give you first dibs on 3 songs I've got here on this cassette. Titty Man, Lindsay Lohan, and there's a rude one about Miley Cyrus where there's an innuendo, but she's playing a guitar, but actually it's about masturbation. And you wait, guys. Monday show, cigars, champagne. It's gonna be a mess, an absolute mess, because the big time is coming, guys. The big time is coming. So everyone going, oh, he's not going to make any money. Even if all of his listeners bought it, he'd make £4,000. £4,000 is going to be nothing. £4,000 is going to be the bill for I don't know what we call them. We people. What do we? I don't know what we. I'm trying to delicately, but we're going to have wee people with cocaine bowls strapped on their heads. I don't know what you call them. I don't know what you call them. I'm not trying to be Oompa Loompas. Freddie Mercury actually waiters. That's it. Freddie Mercury actually did that, didn't he? He actually threw a party where there were I don't know. I honestly don't know what the correct term is. No. It'd probably safer to say Freddie because he's dead. But I think he did. He had wee people with bowls of cocaine on strapped on their heads. That's insane. Freddie's parties, apart from obviously, we're gonna practice safe sex. Freddie's parties are going to be like dull by comparison. This is going to be like your nana's party. You compare Freddie Mercury's parties to the parties that me and Nigel are going to have, and the whole titty band. It's going to be like your nana's 80th party at the club. It's going to be like that's what Freddie Mercury's parties will be similar to your nana's 80th birthday at the club, and you didn't even want to go to that, and you had to go, and it was rubbish. That's what Freddie Mercury's parties are going to be like in comparison to the parties once Giles Martin gets on board. It's going to be fun times. But to quote the Spice Girls, we're going to put it on. Safe sex. One love. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call, you're more than welcome to. Here's the thing. I'll come to Jonathan in a minute. I was at the park. I mentioned this to the two mics. I meant to mention this the other day. I was at the park the other day with the boys to the pirate park. And they keep, every time we go, they go, why is it called a pirate park? It's got a pirate ship buried in the sandpit. It's like a massive pirate ship coming out of the sandpit. And there's a pirate what? Why are you asking me why is it called a pirate park? There's a pirate ship in it, man. Are you nuts? These are the same children that didn't notice I'd had a beard. My beard had disappeared, despite them seeing me 2 hours before with the beard. And we were at the pirate park, right? Rocking it up. We're having a fun time. And I smelt the 90s. I got a strong old whiff of the 90s. And there was a fella. So there's the park, and there's like a fence around it that's 2 foot high. And then there's a car park on the other side of the fence, and there's like some benches and stuff. And there was this guy sat on the bench with I'm assuming his missus, and his car behind him, and the park's in front. And he's smoking a joint. He's actually had a full-on joint on the go, and he had his kids with him, right? And his kids were, I'm going to say, a girl of about 10 and a boy of about 7, I'm going to say. And he had, there was a few of them there, right? It was him and his missus, and then there was a couple of other guys, and every now and then his fag would go out, so he'd light it again. And then he went into the car, right? And he was skinning up another one. He was skinning up a joint. And then, because it was obviously was a joint, and it was like big, he went for a walk through the car park smoking the joint until it got to a decent size. Now, listen guys, have I ever smoked drugs? Come on, of course, right? But I haven't had a drink or drug for years and years and years, right? So I'm not anti-drugs, I'm not anti-drink, I'm not anti-smoking, any of that stuff. But he was doing it by a kiddie's playground. Literally right next to the kiddie's playground. And some of the other parents could smell it. And, none of the kids, I felt sorry for his kids and having to witness that, the whole thing. And obviously my kids didn't know what was going on and stuff like that. And here's the thing. There's no way of saying this without sounding snobbish and arrogant, so I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to have to speak my truth. He looked really rough. Him and the woman he was with and his mate, they looked absolutely rough, right? And had they not looked so rough, I would have had a word. And actually, it got to the point where when I was gathering the boys up, once the boys got in the car, I was going to go and say something to him. But he went. As the boys got in the car, he jumped in his car and he went. But I was definitely going to go and say, I didn't want to say anything. 0844 499 1000. I didn't want to say anything when the boys were there because I didn't want to cause a scene, because I made up that this guy would get a little bit arsey with me. But once they were in the car, I was going to go and say, man, you can't. I was going to say man, because, Remember I saw some kids having a joint. Yeah, he was driving his kids, yeah. I saw some kids, they weren't having a joint. What were they doing? Were they doing poppers or something? Some kids were doing, I think some kids were sniffing glue. They're sniffing glue by the river near where we live, and we walked past them a couple of times, and they were being really open about it. And once the kids went on with their mum, and I went back to and had a word with them. I said, listen, man, man, you see, speak of their language. You say man, they think, oh, this isn't some straight. This guy's cool, man. He's speaking. I said, listen, guys, I'm not anti-drugs or anything like that. But A, what you're doing is going to mess your head up big time. I think they were sniffing glue, or maybe it was lighter fluid. It was lighter fluid. That's what they were doing. I said, look, A, that is a particularly nasty drug that you're doing, and that is just going to cause you serious damage in your head. B, don't do it out on the street in front of everyone. My kids just walked past that. Supposing they'd ask me a question about it. And they went, sorry, mister. Like that. I may say kids, they were like 14, 15, 16, but they, you know, sniffing lighter fluid. Whatever gets you through the night, it's all groovy, but, don't demonstrate. But this guy, and then I tweeted, because that's what we do these days when we get angry. I tweeted, there's some bloke having a joint by the park, it's bang out of order. And loads of people went, yeah, that's really bad, what a scumbag. And some people went, well, you know, considering some of the things he could be doing in a park with kids, it's not that bad. What? So because he's not raping children, I have to accept that he's smoking a joint and that's alright, is it? That makes it okay, does it? And I just went, no, you're wrong. And they said, would you feel the same if he'd been drinking? And I went, yeah, I would. And I would have been almost as angry if he'd been smoking fags there. I would have been almost as angry if he'd been smoking fags by a park. I would say smoking a joint by the park, out of 100, I was like, in terms of anger, I was like, 90. Drinking booze, I would be like 87 angry, and smoking fags, I would be 82 angry. So that's still angry. It's still angry. You shouldn't be doing that stuff. And vaping, I would have been 100 angry. Because it's all vapours. And there isn't the tide turning on vapours, as suddenly we're starting to find out that actually it may not be that good for you. 0844. I don't know where I'm going there. I just felt the need to get that off my chest. I was surprised by people on Twitter going, well, come on, man, it's only a joint. Yeah, well, no. And there's a time and a place. A time for a joint. I don't condone drugs, by the way. I have to say this. Don't condone and encourage drugs. But the time for a joint is about 10:30 at night when you've got your I was going to say your John Thomas out, and I don't mean your John Thomas. I mean your James Taylor. That's what I mean. Or your John Thomas. Either way, not encouraging, not endorsing or condoning drugs, but if there is a time for a joint, it's not 2:30 in the afternoon by a kiddie's playground when you're about to drive your kiddies home. Is it? I don't think so. Tristan Jonathan, sorry, you've been waiting there for ages. We'll come to you in a minute. 0844 499 1000. I'm Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio. 0844 499 1000. Yes, Jonathan.
Hello.
Hello, Jonathan.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit hyper from Monday night.
Why, what happened? Did you see a picture of a lady in her pants or something? Is that what happened?
I stumbled across Frankie Boyle's latest stand-up show on Netflix, and I'm a huge fan of Frankie Boyle's comedy, and I was in stitches.
Oh, really? Well, do you know what? I worked with Frankie years and years ago. He was a writer on a show that I did. But I've never seen anything that he's done since, because I've never seen Mock the Week. I've never seen his stand-up shows. I'm sure he's very entertaining.
Oh, yeah. He's my kind of scum.
Oh, gosh. Well, I'm sure he'd be pleased to hear that.
He doesn't care. He's probably shouting over the radio, I hope you die of cancer!
Well, he might be saying that, or he might be asleep now.
No.
Frankie Boyle never sleeps.
No, he doesn't.
No, he's too angry. Frankie Boyle is too angry and too naughty to go to bed at 10:30. He wouldn't go to bed at 10:30, 11:30. He'd go to bed like at 6 in the morning. That's how naughty he is. He don't care, does he?
No.
Literally doesn't care. Brilliant. But he's a very quiet, softly spoken gentleman in real life. I mean, I met him, 12 years ago, 13 years ago, I think I did a show with him, and I was on it for like 3 episodes. But I remember him being very quiet and very polite and very shy.
Well, so is Katie Hopkins away from the camera.
Yeah. She is. I've spoken to her off air, and she's delightful. But unfortunately, her act is actually really dangerous. And once I realised that, yes, Katie Hopkins is delightful off air, in some ways that makes her even more dangerous because she can turn on the bile. And it is what she says is dangerous sometimes, calling dead children cockroaches and stuff. The fact that she is so pleasant off air, I think makes her crimes worse.
Well, we'll agree to disagree on Katie Hopkins.
Well, no. What do you think about Katie Hopkins then?
She reminds me of Bernard Tapie.
I don't know who Bernard Tapie is.
He's a famous French businessman who owned a football club and went to prison for tax evasion.
Okay.
Yeah, not accusing Katie Hopkins of tax evasion.
No.
But she strikes me as
being
the sort
French.
of person where... yeah, that too. Yeah. She's the sort of person where if you like her, she doesn't want anything to do with you because you're not a challenge. But if you dislike her, she's interested in getting you and winning you round because it's a challenge.
I tell you what's no, she's not interested in winning you round. She's interested in getting you angry and then getting a big fat paycheck for it. That's what she's interested in.
That too.
She has found that she has found a way to make bile pay. She's what we used to call at school an SH1T stirrer. And she's found a way of making money. I tell you what I'm enjoying about this phone call is it's really nice, Jonathan, to hear you laughing, like properly, you're like giggling gleefully, because normally when you laugh on the show, you're being sarcastic, but you're actually giggling with glee, and that's really nice to hear.
Oh, that's just because of what I wanted to say tonight.
Yeah.
Because I had an epiphany this morning about one of my favourite TV shows from the 1990s and one of my favourite characters in that TV show. And the more I thought about it, and the further down I went the rabbit hole, it just blew my mind. And it's made me look at this TV show and these characters in a whole new light.
Yeah.
And that is Star Trek Space Nine, and in particular, Constable Odo.
Okay, you're going to have to fill in significant number of blanks.
There's a way to do that. It's called Netflix.
All right, I'm not going to watch all of Star Trek Deep Space Nine just so I understand what you've just said.
Oh, it's brilliant. You don't get telly like that anymore.
No, it looks like it's done on an Amiga though. That's the problem with that program. Here's the thing. What you've just said, not the thing about President Odo or whatever it is, right?
Constable.
Yeah. All right. But something you've said in this conversation has completely destroyed your apparent raison d'etre.
And what's that?
You're not a misanthrope.
Oh, I am. No. That's one of the reasons why I like the character of Odo in Deep Space Nine, because he's a self-hating misanthrope, just like me.
No, but a misanthrope hates everybody.
Yeah.
You've just told me two people that you really admire, and one of them's a woman.
Fiction. What? You got me there. I thought you were talking about something else. And you're talking about Frankie Boyle and Katie Hopkins.
Yeah, and one of them's...
Good one, Ian. Good one, you got me there.
Yeah, I did, didn't I? One of them... Yeah, I did. With a little help from Kath. One of them who's a woman. But one of those people that you really admire is a woman.
Well, what's the shock about that?
Well, because you part of your anger seems to be directed at women. And you know, if you're going to follow the classic Freudian route, you trace it back to your mum and stuff like that. I don't know if it's necessarily as simple as that, but you do have a lot of anger and hatred, and repressed sexual feelings around. And that giggle there, that touched it. That touched it, didn't it? That touched it.
No, because it ties in with what I was going to say.
Yeah. We touched it, didn't we? We touched it.
No, we
Didn't
haven't
we?
quite yet.
Not quite, but we got.
I haven't ruined the Trekkie's childhoods yet.
Okay, but it's just interesting that you're not quite what you pretend to be. Have you been to see the doctor or something recently?
No.
You're sounding. I tell you what, because you're sounding a bit hyper, and I just wondered if
I told you it was the Frankie Boyle.
But it's had something has had a profound effect on you, and it sounds like you've changed your meds and stuff. But I'm assuming you're not on any meds because you don't need any. Oh, it swung the other way, isn't it? Isn't that interesting?
It's the Frankie Boyle. It's just the Frankie Boyle.
That's the brain making up its own narrative. You know, you need a reason to justify why you're swinging. I don't think you've swung completely. The pendulum has not made its full journey yet. I think you're still on the upswing. So it's going to get even more.
I'm always on the downswing.
But do you not? You're probably not noticing that you're laughing. Sometimes at things that are funny, and sometimes just laughing a little bit maniacally. There.
Well, genius and insanity are two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, aren't they? Aren't they just?
Yeah.
Aren't they just?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but I want to get to the point.
No, we got to the point. I think we got to the point tonight, Jonathan. To be continued. Work in progress. Is it? I'm fascinated. Absolutely fascinating. Character, man alive. What a psychotherapist or a psychosexual counsellor or what someone could do with that mind. Isn't it interesting? 0844 499 1000. If you let me because I've not said it this hour. If you're planning on coming to the show on this Friday, it's not happening. It's not an open door policy, so don't turn up because you won't get in. If you've booked a hotel or spent money on train tickets, though, send me an email, ian@iainlee.com. I'm not saying I can get you a refund and stuff, but let me know. But don't rock up this Friday because we're not doing it. Okay, we will do it at some point, maybe, but we might not. If you hadn't guessed already, you can call in about anything you want, and a lot of people say, "We should get some topics." We've had loads of topics tonight, man. Loads of topics. Let's have what we talked about in the last few minutes. Deep Space Nine, Katie Hopkins, repressed sexual anger, guys, if you want it. The Beatles, how I'm going to make a fortune from selling records. Loads of stuff. You can call in about any of that or anything you want, really. 0844 499 1000. We call you back. This is Talk Radio. 0844 499 1000. Tris!
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip, hip, hip. Tris, how you doing, man?
I'm alright, man. How are you?
Existential crisis, to a certain extent, this weekend, or yesterday, when I looked in the mirror and saw the beard and thought, nah, you're a fraud. And it's weird, I can't explain it to anybody. I just looked at it and thought, nah, you're a fraud. And I wanted to get rid of it instantly, but I didn't have me clippers or anything, any of me shaving equipment or nothing. So, but it was a joy to get rid of it today, but then I'm thinking I might grow it back. I might grow it back instantly. But I'm rocking some wicked sideburns for the first time in a long time. Look at these bad boys.
It's a palaver, though, isn't it, shaving?
It is a palaver. It feels nice now, but it won't tomorrow. It is a palaver. Shaving.
I mean, I'm a beard wearer, but I hate it. It's only laziness that I've got one.
Yeah, I think
just wait until I look a bit homeless, and then I shave it off.
I got a mate, Scott Balcony, who grows them and shaves them off all the time, and I don't see the point in that. Just trim it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just lop it off, and then I enjoy it for a day or two, and then I'll grumble about it again. It's when I'm sleeping. It rests on the top of my chest. That's what I don't like.
Sorry?
The beard.
How long is your beard? What are you, cat weasel or something?
No, no, it's not. It's not that long. But when it gets too long, it starts to.
I found food in the beard was a thing. That was an actual issue.
Yep.
If I blew my nose, I'd have snot in my moustache.
Yep.
By the way, that's the title of my autobiography I'm working on. No wonder no publishers have gone for it yet. And also, I'd drool when I sleep. So my right side of my beard would be all wet and yucky and stuff. So
I'll tell you what, that Shea Stadium thing sounds good. Charles Martin.
Have you seen the Shea Stadium concert? The documentary?
Yeah.
It's been doing the rounds for years as a bootleg, but it's going to be in HD. It's all remastered and stuff. 7:00 Monday night, and Giles Martin is going to be introducing it. How cool is that?
That's really cool. Have you got a plus one?
Cass coming.
Oh, that's a try, isn't it?
Can we get another one? Can we get another one? Triss, if we got another, because I was thinking about this, right? Because Triss is a big Beatles nerd like we are. If we were to make an effort to get a plus one, could you get to Soho on Monday night?
Absolutely, I could. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll ask. We'll ask.
Okay,
they might say no, because I imagine it's going to be very limited numbers, right? But when we went the other day, there were loads of free seats, so we'll ask.
Oh, if you could, man, I'd love you for that.
And that'll be £100, made payable. No,
I'd pay that as well.
I know you would. And I was thinking about when I got the email this morning, I thought, Triss would like that. And it does seem a little bit odd, right? There was several years ago, I was earning a lot of money, right?
Yep.
And when you start earning a lot of money, that's when you get stuff for free. It's the weirdest thing, right? You start,
strange, isn't it?
You go on telly and you start earning good money, right? And then people start giving you free, free Dreamcasts and PlayStations and free clothes and free ticket, all of this stuff for free. And I remember thinking, this is weird. I can afford this now. For the first time in my life, I'm not signing on. I can afford this, and I'm getting it for free. And I'm not earning anywhere near that much money now, and I get some stuff for free, but not a lot. But when I saw this email, I thought, isn't that odd, right? And the reason they're doing it is so that you then go on the radio and go, the Shea Stadium thing is it's brilliant. It's going to blah, 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 blah. But there are proper, and I'm a proper fan, but there will be people in that screening with us who are there because it's a freebie. Not because they like the Beatles or anything, not because Giles Martin's going to. They won't appreciate the magic of. It's a magical thing. George Martin's son is going to get up and say a few words about the film. I'm assuming he's remastered the sound for this as well. I know he did the beat.
He's done the album, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So,
George Martin's son is going to get up and say a few words, and then we're going to screen a rarely seen Beatles live concert. Flipping heck!
That's mind-blowing.
It's going to be wasted on 80% of the people in that screening room, that little screening room in Soho. There'll be 40 people there, and I don't know, 35 of them won't really appreciate what they're seeing.
Yeah, it's nuts, isn't it?
It is nuts.
You should have to prove yourself at the door.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so I want you to name 3 Beatles albums and 2 singles that were not on albums. Does it count if they are on Past Masters? No, it doesn't count. That's what we want.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'll be up for that. I'll be up. Yep, straight away. Come on, I'll do this. Bring it on.
You know what it was 50 years anniversary of on Monday?
I do know this, because I was... let me think. 50 years, 66... it would have had to have been Revolver then, wouldn't it?
No, Candlestick Park, mate. Last gig.
Candlestick Park. Here's another thing, which I think is true, that they don't mention in the Beatles documentary. Right. They have a big thing about Candlestick Park, and they show some bootleg Super 8 film from it, right? They don't mention that a lot of the tickets were unsold for that concert.
Yeah, that's right. Only about 20,000 or 45,000 or something.
It's about half the tickets went unsold. And I'd forgotten that. And then I was looking, you know, kind of geeking away, and I read that, and I went, oh yeah. And it wasn't mentioned in the film. And that's actually, the fact that their last concert, they'd only sold half the tickets, that's actually a massive thing. That changes the narrative. I think
the promoter actually lost money on it as well.
Possibly, yeah, possibly, because they had a big guarantee. And that changes the whole dynamic of the story, I think, when you realise that last tour in the States, partly because of the Beatle burning, but partly because the bright spark was dimming slightly in terms of Beatlemania, a lot of those concerts, they didn't sell out.
Yeah, that's right.
And also, here's the thing, this is annoying me, and you're going to see this a lot in relation to this Beatles film. The Beatles were the first band ever to do a stadium tour. Incorrect. Yep. Incorrect. They weren't the first band to do a stadium tour. They didn't do a stadium tour. They did a tour where several of the dates were in stadiums, but the whole tour wasn't a stadium tour. The first band to do it was?
Gone the Monkeys.
No. The first band to do a stadium tour, 1974, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Oh, Crosby, yeah.
The first band to do a tour where all of the dates comprised of stadiums. Stadia. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Stadia. Anyway, Tris, what you called in for?
Well, I found one of the darkest things any of my children have ever said to me happened this morning.
Go on.
But I found my 3-year-old crying in her bedroom, right, bawling her eyes out, and I said, oh, what's wrong, honey? And she says, oh, I don't want to die alone. For a 3-year-old.
Wowzers.
Jesus Christ, I know, but I mean, proper in tears.
What do you, what did you say to that?
Well, I kind of reassured her that she wouldn't, and that she's lovely, and that I love her, and I just gave her a cuddle. What do you say?
So you lied to her? Because
maybe,
and that's not a criticism. It's I'm kicking this around because you know that I've had, as a dad, you get these questions, you get these moments where you really have to think on your feet, and there's no right or wrong answer. Whatever you say,
I felt utterly unprepared.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course. Of course, but there's no right or wrong answer. Whatever you say will be the right thing, and it will help shape, their childhood one way or another. I really try, when the death thing is a tough one, I really try and be as honest as I can with the boys.
Yeah.
About stuff. But you're right, sometimes it's, you do have to, tell a little porky. We've not had him in tears. We did have one saying, well, he did get a little bit upset the other day. What was it? He was saying, that he didn't want me to, he didn't want me to die. He didn't want to die. He said, he wasn't crying, but he was getting a little bit panicky, saying, I don't ever want to die. And I said, why not? He said, because I like being alive. And I said, well, that's brilliant. Enjoy it. But sadly, we're all going to die one day. You've probably got, 80, 90 years ahead of you. And we don't know what dying is. Some people think that when you die, it's better than being alive. Some people think you just go to sleep and you don't wake up, and we kind of...
And that sounds better to me, to be honest.
What, going to sleep? Yeah, flipping it. Tell me about it.
At least I've got to worry about it.
Imagine if heaven is just like a really comfy bed with clean sheets. The sheets are always clean. And you don't have to get out of bed and take them off.
Clean sheets.
Yeah, clean sheets, right? Did you say you're not a sucker?
No, I am.
Clean sheets. So in heaven, right, this is it. So you're just asleep, right? But, this reminds me, right? I had a dream the other night that my ex-girlfriend Tessa was in it. I was at a party and she was in it. And I was talking to her boyfriend, right? I don't know who her boyfriend is. But he was saying, I've got really important information for you. You have to remember this information when you wake up, right? This is in the dream. And I'm going, right, shout it at me. You've really got to shout it so that when I wake up, it's in my head, man. It's in my head. And he shouted, and I kept saying, shout it to me again, man. Shout it. So when I wake up, it's in my head, and I know what to do with it. And the information he imparted to me, Triss, was that his name was Richard, and he's a really big fan of the cult American band, the Brian Jonestown Massacre. Now, I've got Tessa's number, right? And I've come so close to texting her going, this is going to sound nuts, right? But do you know anyone called Richard who's a really big fan of the Brian Jonestown Massacre? Now, odds are she'll come back and say, what? But supposing, Triss, she comes back and says, yeah, that's my boyfriend. How did you know?
Yeah, you said
wouldn't that would destroy everything we know about life on this planet?
It's probably best you don't text her then, isn't it?
And that is why I'm not. That is one of the many reasons I'm not going to text her. But I've said it out loud now. It's like there's people who say, "Well, I knew I predicted the Twin Towers. I knew the Twin Towers was going to happen. I had a dream a week before that these planes flew into these big buildings." Well, you never said nothing. I knew Lady Di was going to die. I could feel it. I could feel it. Queen of Hearts was going to die. Well, I've said it now.
Well,
my ex is going out with a boy called Richard who likes the Brian Jonestown Massacre.
And no one likes the Brian Jonestown
No, of course they don't. They're pony. Utter pony. Yeah. Triss, I've got to move on.
All right, man. Love you.
Tatty bye. 0844 499 1000. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. And I should remind you, is Dean Torrance gone up? Yeah. You can get podcasts of the show as well. And I was reading a really interesting thing, and I suspected that this was the case. I'd heard this before. But I was reading a really interesting thing by James Cridland about iTunes and how they do the ranking for the podcast. You can get a podcast for this show on iTunes and all your usual podcast providers. You type in Iain Lee, IAINLEE, and it's there. And we were quite high in the chart. I've not looked at the chart for ages. I imagine I would be surprised if we're even in the top 100 anymore. And yet we continue to get thousands of podcast downloads every day. We'll get the figures for August later on this week. And the way that iTunes calculates its charts isn't the number of downloads. So your download numbers go up, but you can still sink down the chart. It's to do with the number of new subscribers that you get. So so if you release a new podcast, then the odds are, and you've kind of got a bit of a following or something, the odds are you'll zip up to the top 10, the top 20 quite easily. But then once all of your subscribers, your followers, have subscribed, then that's it. You drop back down. And that just seems to me one odd way of calculating a chart. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Saying that, when I used to work in HMV many, many years ago, HMV would, the store manager would make up the in-store chart. So, you go into HMV, I don't know if this is still the case, I know our price used to do it as well. You'd go into HMV and it'd have a chart, this week's top 10 singles, this week's top 10 albums, this week's top 10 games. They would just make it up, depending on what they had a load of. So if they had like a load of, let's say, Phil Collins, No Jacket Required, that they had to shift, they'd put it like number 2 in the chart. So people go, oh, Phil Collins, No Jacket Required is number 2, I better get that. Hey, in no way tallied with the number of CDs or whatever was being sold. Isn't that nuts? It's all hype, guys. It's all hype. And I bet a lot of shops do that as well. So I'm getting distracted by... I'm going to get rid of Periscope because you're getting on my nerves, you lot. I suspect a lot of shops do that now. Bookshops, maybe. Well, you don't really get music shops anymore, do you? That would do that. But front page of the Evening Standard. I don't normally get to see the Evening Standard. Now that it's free, we're not sponsored by Evening Standard, are we? No. Now that it's free, I don't really read the Evening Standard. When you used to have to pay for it, I would get it. But now it's free. I tend not to read it, right? The front page of the Evening Standard, 0844 499 1000, by the way. This just sounds like an absolute nightmare. Party in the sky on cable car over the Thames. Now, I have been on the cable car over the Thames. It is flipping horrible. It is horrific. It's one of those things where your ears pop and it sways too much and you're much higher than it looks from the ground. Much higher. Getting all bunged up. Getting cold, isn't it? Well, this story by Sophia Slay and Jonathan Prynne. Why did it take two people to... why did it take two people to write a story? Why have they done that? I can't understand that. Surely they've just been sent a press release that they've rehashed. Anyway, this is what's happening, guys. This is what's going to happen. Passengers on the Thames cable car will be able to drink alcohol and party into the night at 300 foot under new plans to revive Boris Johnson's struggling cross-river link. Why would anyone... Here's the thing, guys. That's not going to work. Because why? I don't understand why anyone would want to do it. You can get 4 people in one of those cars. 6, maybe. But you're going to get boozed up in a cable car with 5 other people. And the round trip's about 30 minutes. The other side, it starts off in Docklands. The other side, it goes, no, it's the arse end of nowhere. It's a terrible location. Why would anyone do this? London transport bosses have applied for a licence to sell alcohol to passengers arriving for 10-minute trips. It was only 10 minutes. It just sounds like under the proposals, champagne could be served from 10 a.m. till 1:30 every day from bars on platforms at each end of the crossing. What? Why would anyone honestly, I cannot see the point. The move comes after Here we go. Here we go, guys. Here come the numbers. Get your pens and papers and your calculators ready. The move comes after figures released this month show that the £60 million White Elephant Link is used by just over 4,000 people a day, despite its capacity to ferry 2,500 passengers an hour. When I went on it, it was very poorly attended. A lot of empty carriages. Because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't take you... If it took you, for those of you who know London, if it took you, say, from Leicester Square to, I don't know, Oxford Street, that would be wicked. That would be wicked. I'd pay for that. I'd have some of that. Because that would be a bit of fun. And you're going from somewhere that you want to be, and you're going to somewhere that you want to be. But it's Docklands, and it's like a bit... Not Docklands, it's the Millennium Dome. Is that what they call it? But it's not... It's a little bit of a walk from the Millennium Dome. And then it just takes you to this really rough-looking estate on the other side. It's the oddest journey. A number of other city attractions already... Why is champagne going to make it more attractive? Because you could... I'm not suggesting you should, but I don't think they check your bags. So you could quite easily take a couple of cans in there with you, of Special Brew or something, or even a bottle of White Lightning or something, if you wanted to. If you wanted to get boozed up. And White Lightning's, is like 89 pence a litre or something. This champagne is going to be well over the odds. Critics have warned the scheme will turn the cable car link into a West End nightclub in the sky. No, it won't. No, it won't, because no one's going to do it. Neighbours attack the idea as desperate, raising concerns about noise, antisocial behaviour, and the prospect of drunks falling from pods. You can't open the door unless you really kick it. I was pushing it quite hard. The plan comes 8 years after Conservative Mr Johnson banned alcohol from the underground. What is? When did that happen? You can't drink on the underground anymore? I'm old enough, dear listener, to remember when you could smoke on the underground. I remember, I was a kid, but I remember being on the underground. Everything was made of wood. It was wooden escalators and everything was wooden. And people smoking. And they stopped that after the King's Cross fire. Was that 26 people died or something? I remember seeing that on the news. When was King's Cross fire? I'm going to say 1983 or 5, one of those. This application, says one guy, seems simply a desperate idea to try and rescue what has unfortunately become a non-profitable white elephant. The proposals will lead to people becoming drunk, fighting, acts of damage, drugs, and sex acts. Sex acts? Now I'm interested again. You see? Was King's Cross 87? Was it as late as that? Wowzers. Dear listener, there's another hour of this nonsense. You're more than welcome to join in. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. I'm Iain Lee. You're listening to Talk Radio.
Talk Radio.
Tired, man. If you want to take part in the show, you're more than welcome. 0844 499 1000 is the telephone number. We call you back. We'll set up the stall again in a few minutes. I'm Iain Lee. You're listening to Talk Radio, and here's the news.
Late night, Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Here's a message from the Haters Club, dedicated to the one I love. I've been cursed by your wicked kiss. Once felt, it's forever missed, forever missed. I'm a member of the Haters Club, and I'm hating every minute of me without you, you without me. Give me some of that misery, that misery. I'm a high
So that's Imani Coppola. 0844 499 1000. I like that. It's got jokes in it. That song. I need a prequel to redeem my evil. What a great line, huh?
It's all great. I'm so glad you found her again.
She's brilliant. She sent me her new album again, but in different order. And she sent me a new song. I played you the song that she sent me, saying, "Do you think I should put this on the album?"
Hell yes.
It's like it's like a proper sort of like anthem. You can imagine people going nuts to it in a field. I
said that to you, didn't I? I could imagine it in a festival.
Yeah, I'm going to say something that makes it sound like an insult, right? But it sounds like a Coldplay song. Mm-hmm. But like a good Coldplay.
Yeah.
If Coldplay were good.
You know, because Coldplay do that thing where they start everything quiet and then explode. It's that.
Which one?
But she's good at a chorus, isn't she?
Listen, right. So this is the one she said. Should I put this on the album? I went, yeah, and it's on the album now, right? Awkward verse, good chorus. Here we go. That's what makes me reminds me of Coldplay. Yeah. But this hasn't been played anywhere. I don't even know I'm allowed to play it, so don't tell her I'm playing it.
I give you a thumbs up, a high five. I got my douches out. I got a big bright smile. I feel alive. I occupy my space and activate my mind. I say, hey, what I wanna say. I got nothing in my way. Hey, I get into it. I get into it. I can't get it out.
Here we go.
Of my head. I'm into it. I'm feeling like myself again. I feel like everyone's a friend. We all need one of them days every now and then. It just feels good. Little peace of mind.
Why is this not? This well, it's not out yet, but.
Even the sun shines, feeling my vibe. I got sunglasses on my happy face. I feel alright.
That is a sample from something, isn't it? That. I give you a fist bump. It's a great line. Can I play? I'll play one more bit from this.
You're going to get in trouble.
Yeah, I know. Right.
So no one tell her.
No one tell her. This has got.
I got sunny days. I got morning.
This makes me laugh, right? Some people will hate this song, right? But this is why I like this album. This song's called Beach Boy, right? It just makes me laugh.
I got sunny days. I got morning nights. Ooh. At the beach, having a good time. I'm a beach boy. I get down in the water. So watch me do the backstroke. Girl, let me see your backstroke.
I love it. Backstroke. It goes like that. Well, that doesn't have a catchy chorus. That is the catchy chorus. Her going backstroke. Love it. 0844 499 1000. Yes, Hannah.
Hello.
Hello, Hannah. What?
Was that Imani Coppola? Whatever her name is?
That was Imani, whatever her name is. Coppola. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm still trying to work out how we get her over here. If I can't get her over here, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to film like a little short film around her. I think I've decided that's what I'm going to do.
You really like her music, don't you?
I love her. I think she's actual proper genius, and the G word gets thrown around way too often. But I think she's a genius. She's so clever. I want to write an article for like Q magazine or something about her. I don't know if they'd accept it, but it's going to require a lot of work. So that's next week's project, is for me to crack on and write an article about her, guys.
Yeah. I can't believe your beard's gone.
Yeah, the beard's gone, man. You never got to touch it or nothing.
Yeah, I'm gutted.
Well, you know, these things. My boys were gutted once they realised what had happened. I said, do you like me with it or without it? Grow it back.
You know why?
Yeah.
Kids fear change.
Hey, you got asked a brilliant question today by the youngest. You know, so Daddy, you know when all boys grow up, do they all become men? I went, yeah. Well, no, this is it. No. I said, yeah. Then kind of under my breath, because I didn't want to get any more questions about it, I went, usually, and walked away. And I said, and also, little girls, what do they grow up into? Women. I said, yeah, usually. And walked away, because I didn't want to get into the transgender thing, but also I didn't want to deny my transgender brothers and sisters.
Also, the argument is that those people were never little boys in the first place. They were just the wrong body, you know?
Well, Is that the argument, though, Catherine?
Well, I believe that they are born a certain way and that they end up...
That's what you believe.
I believe that they're born in a certain way and hopefully they will end up aligning themselves to who they are inside.
Okay. Well, is that...
Is it, though?
Well, is it? This is the thing.
Though?
Unless we've experienced it, we just don't know.
And everybody's different.
So even if you have experienced it, God, listen to us. Even if you have experienced it, your experience is probably significant. It's unique to you and significantly different, or maybe identical to others around you. We just don't know, guys.
Gosh, you've caught every single thing there.
Yep, exactly.
You're either the different or you're the same.
Yep.
Everyone, okay?
Everyone.
Let's all agree.
There we go. Anyway, Hannah, what you got? Anything else?
Have you heard that the Crystal Maze is coming back?
Oh, yeah! I saw that in one of the papers, right? Crystal Maze is coming back. And have you seen, Catherine, who their number one person is to do it? Doctor Who?
Yeah, but it's only a one-off, isn't it? With him,
is
David
it?
Tennant, yeah.
Oh, what is it with
He'll
all
have better things to do than that.
He won't do it. He's a good actor.
Exactly. What do you want?
What is it with things coming? Either bring things back, either have the faith in it to bring things back, or don't just bring them back for one.
Are you being served, right?
Yeah.
I managed 2 minutes tops.
Did you get served?
No, not today, thank you.
I'm free!
It was this...
I'm looking for sex with the man! Oh, look at my pussy! Did she have her pussy out?
I didn't get to that part, but I'm sure she did.
And pussy, she means, the joke is it's her vagina.
No, I can't, yeah, but everyone else thinks, oh, she's talking about her vajayjay.
But did you didn't
But that's not funny these days, is it? Because people just say it straight out. I mean, you might as well call it...
But you didn't give it,
no
time.
No, it looked pony. I haven't got time. I think that most people make snap decisions on television programmes within the first 2 minutes.
Tonight, not tonight. Is it tonight? This week? I don't know what night it goes out.
Okay, thanks for that, Radio Times.
It's gonna be, Goodnight, Sweetheart. And the gag from Goodnight, Sweetheart that they played on the radio to advertise it was him, Nicholas Lyndhurst saying, I had to go for a scan on my brain because I've got terrible memory. And the woman says, what did they find? He says, I can't remember. That was the gag that they were using to encourage you to watch that.
Is that the olden days one, or is that the modern revamp?
What do you mean? Was he in... Well,
are they making it deliberately as poo as the first one, or have they made it worse?
I don't think they've deliberately made it worse.
They've done it the same.
He went down an alleyway and came out in the war. That's the thing?
Yeah.
Here's what they should bring back. And I thought this was a great long... Oh, hang on a second. No. It's a great... Oh, hang on, here we go a second.
There's one pet I like to pet, and every evening we get set. I stroke it every chance I get. It's my girl's pussy. Seldom plays and never purrs, and I love the thoughts it stirs, but I don't mind because it's hers. My girl's pussy. Often it goes out at night, returns at break of dawn. No matter what the weather's like, it's always nice and warm. It's never dirty, always clean, in giving thrills, never mean. But it's the best I've ever seen, is my girl's pussy.
I get all of that, right? That all works.
Seldom plays and never purrs.
But the bit about it going out, is he saying she's a slag? It goes out late at night and comes back early in the morning. Is that what he's saying? And it's his girlfriend that is... Because, guys, it's after midnight. Oh, it's the podcast, actually.
It's all right, I can bleep.
Okay, but that is definitely... He's not talking about a cat there, is he?
No, what cat doesn't purr?
No, exactly. Well, some of you got to work harder than others. But he's definitely talking about a doodah, isn't he? That's obvious.
No.
A foof.
Yeah, exactly. A Wang Chung. Hang on. Here we go, hang on.
There's one pet I like to pet, and every evening we get set.
Oh.
I stroke it every chance I get. It's my girl's pussy. Seldom plays, never burns, and my love thought it burns. But I don't mind because it's hers. It's my girl's pussy. So often he goes out at night and returns a break of dawn. No matter what the weather's like, it's always dry and warm. I bring tidbits that it loves. We still like eternal loves. I take care to remove my gloves when stroking my girl's pussy.
He takes his gloves off. It's just, and that's that's 1931.
When, according to my grandparents,
Yeah.
no one behaved like that.
no,
Although,
exactly.
how do they explain us?
Well, Harry Roy and his orchestra were up to,
Harry Roy?
Harry Roy and his orchestra.
Dirty boy.
Dirty
I think
boy.
they were very naughty back then.
I think they were.
The 30s, yes, they were.
They were naughty. Or every generation thinks it's discovered sex and drugs, but old people had sex and drugs. They didn't have rock and roll, but they had that kind of
Tea
music.
dances.
Tea dances.
And we've seen some of the tea dancing filth.
Now it's time for the erection section. If you need help, if you need help getting up, ask one of the nurses. I just made a joke because I meant standing up.
Oh, okay. Because
If
I
you
thought
need help,
you just made a joke that sounded like it should come from the 1970s
If you-
and Bernard Manning.
hang on.
Go on.
If you need help getting up, why don't you ask one of the nurses to give you a hand? Yeah, we found the level, Hannah, haven't we? We found the level.
Play nice.
If you are struggling to, it's the same joke but just worded slightly differently.
To rise
Oh,
to the occasion.
that's just cheap. That's cheap. That's cheap. If you're struggling, don't worry, gentlemen. If you are struggling to get up, I am sure the nurses would be more than happy to provide a helping hand.
That's the same joke.
It's the same joke. So I said it was going to be
Very much the same joke.
I said it was going to be the same joke, just phrased ever slightly differently. If they laugh, do it again. It's the great lesson.
Hannah, stop laughing.
I don't think Hannah's laughing.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's making a video for Harry Roy.
Anyway.
Thanks for calling,
Sorry,
Hannah.
nurses.
Bye. I've got a lot of respect for nurses, but like the Barbara Windsor styly ones, not the Hattie Jakes
I
ones.
don't think she ever went to the RCN.
She went to the RCN. 0844. It doesn't even make sense.
No, I know.
But it's still a bit of fun.
Well,
Dave, you're going to be next, so get ready. 0844 499 1000. What does this mean?
Go on.
We want, I got the Twitter feed for Talk Radio on the screen. 0844 499 1000. Dave, I'll come to you in a minute. We want to hear your hashtag D&V experiences on @Talk Radio tomorrow. Get in touch via DM. Hashtag, well, it's a D&V Duke of Edinburgh.
Yeah. I'm a recipient of a gold award. Shall I phone them?
I got a bronze. Hashtag, don't. Journo request.
Oh.
Well, but that's not... Who's posted that? Not a journalist. Who's posted that? Someone's posted... First of all, are there any journalists working at Talk Radio? It's not exactly... I've not seen any journalists working here.
I think what it means is that someone's fishing for guests.
Okay.
With a very big net.
Okay. Why is the Duke of Edinburgh in the news? What is he dead?
Not yet.
Has he been racist again?
Not that we know of.
I can be quite racist. Do I get a gold for that?
No, you're not rich enough to get away with it.
Hang on a minute.
Or posh enough.
I'm trying to incorporate racism into the colour scheme of bronze. Silver, no. Gold, you kind of could. It's a little bit too tenuous. It's a little bit too tenuous, really. So we're going to leave that one, guys.
Yeah. So everyone relax.
That song, by the way, is Haters Club by Imani Coppola, and that one is available.
It's Little Jackie.
That song is Haters Club by Little Jackie, and that one is available.
Oh, he went Bing.
That was you.
Oh, sorry.
Dave!
Hello.
Hello, Dave.
You alright? Yeah, I like Imani Coppola. She's good, isn't she?
She is good, and one day the whole world will agree, and she will become my wife.
She's no relation of Francis Ford, is she?
No.
It's just one of those names.
No, but it's a reasonable thing to thunk.
Well, I was at school with a couple of Coppolas.
A couple of Coppolas?
A couple of Coppolas. You'll love this, Ian. I was at school with some Coppolas, and they were brothers, and they were Italian, and they were called Mario and Luigi.
Oh, come on. No, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
Really? Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? Oh, do you know what? You've just reminded me, talking about Mario and Luigi, right? Because and I meant to film this, and I think maybe the second time I can capture it again, but it's one of those things, the novelty will wear off very quickly, right? But I've got two young lads, Dave, 6 and 4, stupid names, and they just discovered that the Xbox can play games, and so they were playing Halo Wars. Not Halo Wars, what am I talking about? They were playing Star Wars Lego. Right. But I downloaded for them Pac-Man, right?
Oh, brilliant.
The noise when they were playing Pac-Man was incredible. They were screaming. They were screaming and when I was playing that, and they'd want to watch me play it because I was better at. Like, I've not played it for years, but I could get onto like level 3 or 4, and they like watching me play it, right? And when the two go,
the most simple kind of game.
Exactly.
Basic maze.
There's no buttons. It's just you just got a joystick, and that's it. Yeah. And the thing about the first Pac-Man, the maze doesn't change. It just gets faster, and the ghosts get a bit more intelligent. And when the ghosts were chasing me and getting close, and I'd turn a corner, and they would go straight. It was, and I wish I'd taped it. I'll see. I've got them tomorrow. I'll see if I can get the same reaction, but it'll be the second time tomorrow, so they may not.
Get them on Galaxians or something.
Something like that. But the thing is, I bought it online for the Xbox, like Pac-Man compilations. So you get all these different Pac-Mans, right? So you get Pac-Man, and there's Ms. Pac-Man, and but there's loads of them rubbish. And we started playing one called Pac-Pal, right?
Is that a dog?
No, I don't know what it was, but the graphics. I mean, because Pac-Man was the first one, so why any game after that would have worse graphics? I don't understand. And you had to turn over these cards. Oh, it was rubbish. We ditched that, but it was. But yeah, the boys. But and just this laughter coming from, just pure joy coming from them at the thrill of a pizza running around eating tablets. It was fun. Anyway, Dave, sorry, go on. What did you call in for?
That's okay. And yeah, no, not at all. Yeah. So, what it was, I'm a bit behind on the show, to be honest.
Yeah.
About a week behind. I think I recently caught up with the interview with Dot from the Shags.
Oh yes. Oh god. Yeah.
Or Quado.
Yeah. It was quite interesting.
That was hard work.
You did a fine job, mate, if I dare say so myself. Yeah,
it was, I didn't, sometimes I've done tough interviews and I've come away hating the person. I loved her all the more for it. I thought she was wonderful and it was great, and it was quite exciting radio because it was a really awkward, stilted interview, but it was, And
it fits with her style and her persona and her music and everything. It is that kind of an outsider thing.
Yeah.
But I had a recommendation for you. Similar band from about the same era. Have you ever heard of a band called The New Creation?
No, I don't know. I don't think I know The New Creation.
Oh, if you have a look on YouTube, The New Creation.
Yeah.
Check out Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh, blimey.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. No, you're in for a treat. Now, listen. They are a Christian band.
Yeah.
But they sound like the Velvet Underground, but they don't know how good they actually are.
Here we go. Well, we're going to find out exactly.
I think you're going to like it.
How good they are right now. Oh, hang on. Let's the buffer. Turn your Wi-Fi off because you're eating all the Wi-Fi, Kath. You're eating all the Wi-Fi.
That's it.
Oh, it's like the Velvet Underground, isn't it?
It is just, yeah, but they don't get it.
No. Oh, this...
When they don't destroy and drink, and reach fire and brimstone drink. It's Sodom and Gomorrah times.
It is, it's Lou Reed and Nico.
Yeah. But I presume that the new creation were completely sheltered from that sound. I think that was just them doing what they thought they sounded cool.
I don't like the Velvet Underground. I like a couple of the Nico songs. What's the pop one?
Waiting for my Man?
No, the one with Nico.
Venus and... No, Femme Fatale.
Oh, no, this... Oh, listen to this now. Right. This is a song. This is a song.
Sunday Morning?
Oh, no. Sunday Morning. Hang on, we go. This is a song. Listen to this. Oh, hang on a minute. I've got to wait for the thing to buffer. Is your Wi-Fi?
It's off.
What the hell is wrong with this place? Let me close down.
Terrible. Tim Potts.
Isn't it? It's outrageous. Let's close that. Let's close that and let's closing everything down here. I've got loads of... I need to clear my memory out, man, because my memory is almost full. Listen to this. You're going to love this. Do you know this song? No. Everybody, 3.5 minutes. Enjoy. No. It's digitising. It's digitising. I'm gonna pay $1 for this because it's worth having properly. Because you know that song, don't you, Dave?
I do. I love Nico. She's got one of the best voices ever. It's so weird and indistinct.
She ended up living on a council estate in Manchester, I think.
With John Cooper Clarke.
Yeah. The weirdest thing, I mean, very sad, she was a drug addict, I believe, and all of that. Thoroughly sad existence. But I'm going to pay for that because that was going all digital and horrible, and it was. Is this the?
Because you say you're not a fan, but I think the Velvet Underground and Nico, the classic Banana album, I think that might be my favourite record ever.
Really, I
think it might be.
The stuff with Nico I can dig, but all of that. I'm waiting for my man. Oh no, one night. I saw a band at the Cavern, and the drummer was Clem Burke.
Remind me.
Blondie.
Oh, right, okay. Yes.
The drummer was from Blondie, and the bass player was the manager of the Beach Boys. And I was watching. It was a weird band, and the two singers had these blokes had the most amazing teeth I've ever seen in my life. Absolutely incredible.
What, like Mr. Ed?
No, they were just. And I said to one of the women next to me, I said, have you seen their teeth? She went, yeah, I couldn't stop looking at the teeth. He made absolutely amazing teeth. Anything else, Dave? Did we get to the point of the call, Dave?
Well, it was sort of, I wanted to recommend a new creation to you, because I think that is a good track, and I think you might want to give it another go when your Wi-Fi's up and running.
I might give it another go, and when we come back, we're going to play that, so no bed when we come back, we're going to play that Velvet Underground song, because flipping it, that's a song. You're going to love this, Kath, I guarantee it. 0844 499 1000.
God to do, and all the times I had the chance to. I stopped my rambling. I don't do too much gambling these days. before the changes came about my way. And I wonder if I'd see another I don't think I risk another these days. These days. And if I seem to be afraid to live the life that I have made in sorrow, it's just that I've been losing. I sit on cornerstones and count the time and quarter turns to 10. Please don't confront me with my failures. I had not forgotten them.
Come on now, how can you laugh at what is done? Please don't confront me with my
I wasn't.
failures.
I was just thinking, my God, I've been willing her through the song, and now you're thinking I've got to will you through life as well. God, it's so heartbreaking.
Come on, man, that is one of the best. They were all drenched in heroin at the time.
heck.
That is one of the most beautiful songs ever. And you're sat there laughing.
I wasn't.
Unbelievable. You got no soul.
I wasn't laughing.
You've
I
got
was
no
just
soul.
thinking,
You were
oh my
laughing.
God.
I saw you laughing.
I wasn't laughing at
You're
that.
laughing.
I was
You
laughing
actually
because
had so you were laughing. You had your hand over your mouth going...
No, I wasn't.
Like that?
No.
Yeah.
You're misreading me completely.
She lived in a council estate in Manchester. She's one of your people via Germany and New York, the New York art drug scene.
Yeah, okay. Right, I was doing that because I felt really uncomfortable because it's.
Oh, come on now.
No, I did. I felt really uncomfortable about it.
Right, I think we should play it again.
No, don't.
Right. That is, what you've done there. You've shown yourself up. You've embarrassed yourself there
Right.
with that. Yeah.
You say that.
No, and I'm sure the caller will. 0844 499 1000. She has, hasn't she? There, that was proper. That was heavy, and you're laughing.
It was really heavy.
You were too heavy.
Quite heavy, yeah.
The strings lifted it.
That's the thing. It made me feel really uncomfortable.
What the
so
heaviness?
I was laughing at
the weight,
nerves.
the weight of it.
Yes.
The weight made you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I saw at this thing in Liverpool, right? So the first band was Clem Burke and the manager of the Beach Boys playing some good old rock and roll songs. Great stuff. Lot of fun. The two main guys, all Americans. The two main guys had the most amazing teeth I've ever seen. And I said to the
Define amazing teeth.
White,
stuck on ones,
and all the same size.
Yeah, stuck on.
And I said to the woman next to me, I said, "Look at their teeth." She went, "I know, I can't stop staring at their
like
teeth."
prick pads.
Prick pads.
Prick pads.
Oh, well, what's a prick pad and what's a prick pad?
Don't you remember, like in the 1990s, it seemed to be the next big thing, the prick pad. You didn't need to have glue anymore. You had this sort of a pad made out of a double-sided glue.
Oh right, no, I don't remember that.
Prick pads. So imagine them stuck on your teeth.
I like the plastic, like sticky stuff that often sticks the free toys to the front of the comic because you can roll it off into a ball.
It looks like a bogey.
Anyway, yeah. But then the second...
You can do that thing where you go, proud of you, and wipe it on them.
Oh, I'll do that. The second act came on before Micky Dolenz. And I thought I recognised him, and I did recognise a guy called Mark Hudson, right? And I was when he came out, I thought this guy looks like a complete plank, right? Big, tall guy, American, long hair, pink hat on, obviously bald underneath, big beard. The oral part of the beard was dyed multicolours. I thought, what a twit, what an absolute twonker.
Right.
And he was wearing outrageous clothing. I thought, well, this guy's gonna... And it was just... Oh, jeez.
Pop star Catweasel.
Yeah, and old. And he came out, and I thought, this guy's an absolute jerk. It turns out he was brilliant, actually. He was brilliant. And he'd worked with Ringo, and he'd worked with George. He hadn't worked with George. He'd worked with John and Eric Clapton, stuff like that. And he was telling these brilliant stories. He's telling a story about how he was producing a record with Ringo, right? Somewhere in England. And Ringo said, it'd be great if we had Eric Clapton to play guitar on this. And this guy's like, well, I don't know Eric Clapton. I go, okay, fine. And then he went to the village shop that night, and stood in front of him in the queue was Eric Clapton with eggs and milk. And he said, all right, Eric, I'm producing Ringo's record. Would you come play guitar on it? He went, yeah, all right, I'll be there tomorrow at 1. And he rocked up and played guitar. That's amazing. And he'd written...
Eggs and milk? What was he going to make?
Probably a heroin pie. From roughly the period that was recorded, I think.
Right.
He wrote a big hit for Aerosmith, this guy.
Which one?
I don't really know Aerosmith songs.
Yes, you do.
Something's driving in the world. I'm
Loving an elevator.
I'm such an idiot.
What?
No, an early one.
Oh.
And he wrote a song that Celine Dion then did, and George Martin produced it, and it went... Anyway, he wrote it with Carole King, in fact, and Celine Dion had a big hit with it. And he wrote those...
I secretly quite like Celine Dion.
I think she's great. I think she's got a good sense of humour. She, some guy was stuck at an airport in Las Vegas and filmed himself miming to one of her songs, and she saw it and got him and flew him and his family over to see her concert.
Bet she did.
As a punishment.
One of the low points of my life was when I was very pregnant and watching a Celine Dion.
You look a bit like Celine Dion.
I do not look like Celine Dion.
You do. You do. You've got that equine.
Wow. So, at first I have no soul.
Yeah.
And now you want to put a saddle on it.
I'll ride it.
Anyway, so low point in my life, apart from that one we just had there.
Yeah.
Very pregnant.
Everyone on Twitter, Steve saying, wow, this hashtag Nico song is so hypnotic. Bit disrespectful, Steve, to put a hashtag in front of her name.
Hash.
Hashtag. My sister says, I love this song. Whenever I sing it, I always have to segue into If You're Feeling Sinister by Belle and Sebastian. So, the majority of... so far it's 100% thinking you're out of order, but carry on.
Low point in my life.
Yeah.
Apart from that and that.
Yeah.
Very pregnant watching Celine Dion's Cirque du Soleil thing that she did in Las Vegas.
Oh,
on like a Sky, whatever. Because I couldn't sleep when I was pregnant second time round at all.
Yeah.
Watching that and sobbing my heart out.
Yeah.
Because it was
will your heart go on?
She didn't sing that, no.
No, but will your heart... You're sobbing your heart out, but will your heart go on? It's a joke. Kind of a joke.
Go on, do it again.
This guy, the point of the story is... This guy...
Anyway, it was my hormones.
He had also... What he didn't mention...
Yeah.
Is that he'd also written It's Chico Time.
Why wouldn't you mention that?
And I don't know. I think instead of coming out with the Aerosmith and the
Beatles
Celine
thing.
Dion and all the Beatles stuff, he should have come out and said...
What time is it?
It's Chico Time. I wrote that. It's Chico Time. I don't know how that goes, but I was once in a vegetarian restaurant.
I've been in one of those as well.
Me and my mate Chris took me in it, right, one evening, and no one else in there, apart from two blokes at the back. And my mate went, that's Chico over there. And I turned round, and he saw me, and he went, hey Ian, how you doing?
Wow.
I didn't know Chico.
No, but he knew that telly thing.
The telly thing. So I went and had a chat with Chico. I went, all right, Chico, how's it going then? He was absolutely delightful.
The telly thing is funny, right?
Yeah.
Because the radio thing is the opposite.
Yes.
You recognise each other, you ignore.
Yeah. Well, this is fun. 0844 499 1000. It's gone quiet on the phones, and that's fine. It's the way. Tonight's show, for me, from my perspective, has felt like a bread and butter show. It hasn't felt particularly... Oh, let me just say this, actually, because this will be on the podcast now, and we've not mentioned it this hour. If you're planning on coming in to see the show happening live on Friday, it's not happening. We're not doing that now. So don't turn up. You will not be let in. If you've booked a hotel or a train ticket, send me an email, ian@iainlee.com. If you can't get the money back and stuff, I'm not going to give you the money back, but we might be able to sort something out. I'm not promising anything. But if you're going to come in this Friday, the 2nd of September, 2016, don't come in, guys. It's not happening. It's not happening. Tonight's show has felt like a bread and butter show. It's not felt particularly great. It's not felt bad by any stretch of the imagination. And considering, how I was feeling before the show, I think it's been a darn fine effort. But, they can't all be...
Farmer John's.
What?
We can't always have a Farmer John.
You didn't say Farmer, you said Thelma John.
No, Farmer John.
No, we can't.
What's Thelma John?
I don't know. And I can't always, make gold happen. And I'm not saying this to everyone on Twitter. People, people who like me a lot on Twitter go, it's a really good show. It's groovy, man. That's not what I'm saying it for at all. And there are some people who be going, well, yeah, it was a rubbish show, and you're an idiot, and you're a tosser. Now, that's all fine. I know it's not been a rubbish show, and I know it's not been a brilliant show. It's just been it's just been like an average... 08444991000, by the way. You can still call in, and we'll call you back. Ed will call you back. It's just been like an averagey kind of, show today, which is fine. Averagey shows are all right, aren't they? Well, you can't deliver, you can't deliver gold every night.
People get bored of gold.
People get bored of gold. Hey, this Jeremy Vine video, I like Jeremy Vine because Jeremy Vine has always been very supportive of me, and he's been very kind, and he was supportive of local radio when I was working there, and he would occasionally, say nice things about my show, and that was delightful. He does look like a plonker, though, doesn't he?
I haven't seen this video. What is it?
Well, the picture of him, he looks like... What's
he doing?
He's riding a bike, isn't he?
Road rage woman tells Jeremy Vine,
yeah,
I will knock you out.
Yeah, the
Crikey,
woman got very... He's got a camera on his head, which is great. I love that. The new thing at concerts, it turns out, is because I filmed the two concerts. I made a bootleg of the first one. I'm not afraid to admit it. I put it on YouTube. I've watermarked it so that if anybody tries to download it and sell it online, which people do, it'll have my watermark saying this is you can see this for free here. If you go to Rare Monkeys on YouTube, it's up there. So I filmed it, right? But I just stood there with a camera, just a crappy little camera, just filming it there like that, right? And then when it came time to that battery was dying, I turned my phone on and got my phone going. And But people now hold selfie sticks at gigs with the camera up, filming it. So it's like 2 foot above everybody's head.
Yeah.
That is weird. If I was stood behind someone doing that, I'd be a little bit...
Is that less annoying than someone's phone?
I know what you mean, because of screen glare. I'm going to say, no, it's not less annoying. It's more annoying.
Right. It's less annoying than an iPad, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's too big.
That is really big. And I do complain about people with phones in front of them all the time. But I did film the first show, and then I streamed some of the second one. And actually, it was quite nice streaming some of the second on Periscope because it was quite a party atmosphere. Everyone was feeling a little bit loose.
It was the night, wasn't it?
It was the night. It was the night before the day after, the morning after. But Vine has got the camera on the head, which is great. He's also got the camera on the rear of the bike, which to me seems a little bit overkill. But saying that, he's now made an excellent movie of road rage out of it.
This is the thing. He's a broadcaster. He's thinking, if this happens to me...
He's thinking TV deal.
I'll get it covered.
He's thinking Watchdog gig. He could be on Watchdog or Crime Busters.
He's going to be on Crime Watch, isn't he?
Crime Watch.
Yeah.
With that story going on. The thing is, these days... I had someone have a go at me the other day. And I actually wasn't in the wrong this time. They were in the wrong. and but then he pulled up beside me. And he had a big 4x4, and he was trying to push me off the road, and I was having none of it. And then he pulled up next. You effing idiot! You effing driving like woo 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 woo.
Oh dear.
So I got a little bit in front of him, knowing that he'd pull up again, and I just did that thing where as he pulled up, I just held my phone up as though I was filming him, and I didn't have time. If you ever see me doing that, guys, the odds are I've not had time to turn on the video camera.
Unless you're about to punch him in the face, in which case he will have had time.
And of course, I wouldn't do it when I was driving anyway, because that's illegal.
No.
Rory!
Yes, Ian, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Rory. What you got for us, boss?
I just wanted to say that I'm glad you had a bread and butter show.
I know you, don't I, Rory?
Yeah, I made a film about you years ago.
Yeah,
9 years ago.
Yeah, was it 9 years ago? It's on my YouTube channel, I think.
Yeah.
I put it up there about when I worked at LBC. Rory came and made a lovely little film about me and Chris. Doing this, I think we were doing this shift even. And it's a really delightful little film. Nice to hear from you, Roy. But are you happy with the bread and butter show?
Oh, I wasn't. No, it was a stupid joke. I was going to say, it was a bread and butter show because I wasn't listening to it. But your show on Monday was amazing. I loved it.
I've just given him all this praise,
and then he does that.
He does that.
Sorry, no, but I was leading up to praise. I told you Monday's show was great.
I'm going to get Monday's show and I'm going to shove it right up your camera hole.
Sorry.
That's what I'm going to do, Rory. I'm going to make a documentary about you in hospital.
Right. Okay. Oh, shit, that would be awful. Sorry for saying that. Yeah. Don't dump that.
Have you been drinking, Rory? Is that why you've not been?
No, I was. I didn't drink for like 6 years, and then I drank. I went to Edinburgh Festival last weekend and drank.
Well, you kind of have to, don't you?
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Shattered dreams do
Why did you not drink for 6 years?
It wasn't working out. It wasn't fitting into my life.
But then you went and drank again. And how's it fitting into your life now?
I was at Derry. It's not. I just somebody told me get back on the wagon when you get back to Derry, so I did.
Well, good for you.
But he was drunk when he told me that. But.
Oh, Rory. So you've not heard any of tonight's show?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Wow. I was out in my pub with my friend talking about Kiefer Sutherland. He said he was in a room with Kiefer Sutherland and Stephen Fry. It was a very small room.
So what was he talking about Kiefer Sutherland for?
He said he was on the set of 24, you know, the last 24 that they had.
Yeah.
He makes TV programs and stuff, like.
Are you following this, or is it just me being dumb?
No, you Kath, that's good.
I am. I'm absolutely following it.
That's good, yeah. It's not a presenter thing, it's more of a producer thing, I think.
I did have a spritzer at lunchtime.
Okay, right. I think there might have been gin in the glass that I got, but I was not.
You listen, mate. You're falling back down.
Yeah, exactly.
The wagon you've fallen off it, and the wagon's in another town now. You've got to make it all the way back back home.
Yeah, but I did get home, and I am sober, so I'm drinking jasmine tea.
In fact, you've added an extra A in
Jasmine.
Jasmine.
All right. No, I don't think so. It's jasmine.
That's
jasmine. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Rory, it's nice to talk to you. Let's make another film one day.
Will you what one day?
Okay. Thanks for calling. It's absolutely steaming, isn't it?
Have some more quote-unquote tea.
Jasmine tea. Hello, Pablo.
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip, hip, hip.
Yes, to be honest, I didn't really have much to call in about. I just saw the opportunity and I thought I'd go in. Oh, silence.
Well, I'm not quite sure how to take these last two calls. I saw an opportunity, so I thought I'd go in, says Pablo, in response to our show. Yes.
I mean, where's the respect?
Well, in a rare occurrence, I may have had a drink.
Oh, for goodness sake. It's Wednesday night. Why is everyone steaming on a Wednesday? Hey, Pablo, we've got... Kath met Noel Gallagher last night.
I didn't. I told him to be careful what he said in front of my Periscope. That's not really meeting him, is it?
Kath told off Noel Gallagher last night.
No, I advised him.
Fair play. He's been needing that for quite a while.
She put him in place.
I didn't. I was very, very polite, and then I blushed for a good 10 minutes by myself.
This is my...
was it one of those nervous energy things where you told him off and felt good about it and then just...
I didn't tell him. All right, I told him off. Yeah, I told him off.
You told off Noel Gallagher. Own it.
Fair play.
I want to get Liam on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I've tweeted him.
That'll sort it then.
Well, it might. I just read a really good interview with him in Q magazine on the train yesterday. And I thought, oh, and I met him once, very briefly, and he won't remember it, but he came over and introduced himself to me. And ever since that moment, I've always had a lot more time for Liam Gallagher. Because he was just so polite to me, he didn't need to, and I was taken away by it. And this interview in Q magazine, he sounds like a lost, lonely child.
He's mellowed over time. I think that the issue with Liam was always he was a little bit ornery.
He said, right, you can count the number of friends I've got on no hands. Oh, come on,
Isn't that any man of a certain age with children?
No, you can count, but on no hands. That means, let me just clarify, that means no friends.
Well, but he's got money though, can he buy them?
They're not real friends, Pablo. When will you learn?
But the thing is, he's not been in a band for 3 years. BDI broke up 3 years ago. He's not in that. He says he's not in that bubble. He hasn't done shows for 3 years. He's not had an album out for 3 years. He's done nothing.
It's almost as if he's not necessary for the general development of the human race.
Wow. Well, I tell you what. When he comes on the show...
That was harsh, I apologise.
When he comes on the show, I'm going to play him that clip, and don't everybody dig up clips of me saying Oasis are rubbish, that's none of your business. But I'm going to play him that clip, Pablo, and then I'm going to give him your address.
I appreciate that, but could you direct him to at ftwfbpodcast.com?
Okay, thank you, yeah, okay, you see what he did there, he got a plug-in, but luckily none of us realised what he was... plug-in.
I'll bleep it out in the podcast just to say.
He does podcasts about food you should eat when you're watching films.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it's called, and I've just cut him off. So on that bombshell,
that'll do, won't it?
That'll do. We've kind of ground to a halt about 35 minutes ago, and these things happen. Dean Torrance podcast is up and at 'em. If you want to get it. Back tonight at 10. Ta-ta.
Talk Radio. Digital debate for the UK.
Talk Radio.
We'll get you talking.